had to do dolphin. I don't even remember
how
dolphin.
big
This is. Yeah, it's dolphin. Then the
It was dolphin. Oh, where did I come from? Who knows? Big news.
Kyle's here already.
How's it? I know. I'm not late.
He brought the important things.
I did bring the important things.
What does it taste like? Green.
It better taste like green. I paid for it. Pretty green.
I paid for it with green.
Hey, it's a soda. You still owe me monies, yeah. I'm sorry, I know you.
Joy that was at Babscon. He was at our hotel, and I kept fucking with like I need money. I even up in the panel. I'm like during the panel, password. I'm like
just go outside, get a switch, and just start whipping him in the back of the knees.
And then he's like, I spent way too much of the con. I don't have money for you anymore. I'm like, whatever.
I know it's gonna be next Friday. You've already told me. I was fucking with you. Hello, everybody. We're going to do the stream now.
So I have an issue. They have ice. Kind of fun.
Sick. Sick. So she has con crud. Jay has the con crud. Everybody's got the disease of business. There. You can only hear Kyle laugh. That's
I didn't have everything balanced. So everything should be better balanced. Alright.
I got on my bike and I pedaled to this cider.
Really?
Yes.
You're dedicated to your craft.
I'm dedicated to my alcohol.
Okay, so that should work a little better. Alright, sorry. Balanced it. Alright. So, anyways, so since last stream, I had so thank you for the confirmation. I can go over those now. We'll go right over them. Four canceled ones. I was gonna cover sci-fi first. And then this one took me 1 week, I think. I can't remember. I think it was just over a week, so there was a break somewhere in there. Yes, learning.
Is it better, guys? Does it sound better?
Well, I can see the balance here, and so that's the music level. So the mic level you just want to have it at, or just a little bit above. But before it was lower than. But
it was complaining, so these were okay.
The computer speakers were higher, and my mic was lower, so that's why. But I'll fix it, I think. So. Anyways, so I did this one. So this was one I did because I wanted the science button was a fairly popular short, and I wanted to use the same audio from the chick because she has so many different audio bits that would work. So I was trying to find one that would work within my time restraint. I only had a couple weeks to work with to make stuff. So I made I made this one, which hold on, let me preload. Okay.
Science! Formulas! Microscopes! Learning!
Yay. So it's pretty like simple. Like a lot of these shots I had to relight because I didn't like how the lighting was like very bland, so I had to go through here and like add these really sharp lights at spots. I think it's some TF2 sciencey stuff. I don't know what it does, but whatever. This is where you wash the brony tears away. And I don't know what this stuff is. I just threw anything that looked sciencey, I just put down here. That's really all it came down to. I don't even know what.
Is that a bottle of alcohol on that? It sounds like a bottle of. Yes, it is. That's not
It's
science.
It's sulfuric acid.
Oh, it does say sulfuric
You
acid.
don't drink poison.
What about the one to its left?
Calcium hydroxide.
Okay, it's legit. It looks like a bottle of booze.
You want some of this?
No. What is the tube thing, guys? The tube.
There's some like things
I
here.
gotta
The Manco expedition program. I don't know. It just looks sciencey. So that's all this was. But I had to start it somehow, and I needed to create some kind of atmospheric introduction. So that's why I have the sciencey stuff. Do I have my audio turned on for that? And all it is there's really only some like background science stuff, background thunder, and then the actual audio for it. So yeah, I mean like stuff like this. This is fairly simple. Just
Science!
but she's very happy about.
Look at her adorable face as she yells at you.
Science!
I wasn't really happy with the lip sync on this, but I couldn't figure out how to get it.
How would you do the whip pan or the whip with the? Well,
The what?
I guess her lips aren't pursed as much as. She
No,
really could.
but I needed to keep that big smile, and
Yeah.
I didn't care because of the camera pan.
Who
but
cares?
I wanted it to kind of be like just unexpected. Oh, look at this, a Twilight, and everybody like, oh, it's Twilight.
There's a bug in here.
Whoa.
Whoa. Oh my goodness. This is what science has done.
Science! Science!
Why did the glasses get so big?
It's the perspective is so fucked up.
She's such a dork. Holy shit. That's amazing. Twilight, stay a little close.
Anyways, this is about the same shot. I took the normal green chalkboard. I just looked up like formulas on chalkboard on Google or something and just overlaid it on top of the chalkboard. So that wasn't that very long. I didn't really care what she did here. Oh, I got a picture. She's just kind of. She just doesn't even care. She's like everything's broken,
Her
but
sleeves are broken. Everything's broken.
it works in this angle, and I meant it to kind of be just bouncy because it didn't or I couldn't see the mouth. So I mean that was pretty standard. This is just a zoomed in shot using the same sciencey thing from before. So the getting down this close was super difficult. She's like, microscopes.
You touch my tra-la-la, my microscopes.
Microscopes!
But I mean, like, even her leg here, to get it positioned how I needed to, I did like jam it someplace. This is all broken, but I didn't care because it looked okay from this angle.
And then we get to the adorable.
But yeah, this is the only one that
Then we get to the
actually has
adorable.
anything that I would consider a special effect on. So I was trying to go for like a Frankenstein look, so this is just out of the void because I do everything in the damn void. And so the back here is just some random black clouds, and that I just have rotating there. I'm turning her off because it's gonna get annoying. And that just helped to add a little bit of an extra effect in the background there. Just a standard table, but I couldn't. I could see behind the table, so I just took another table in front of it and turned it sideways. Hey,
Cat.
get down. Get
The
down.
butt.
Get down, kitty, on my PC. No,
Here
I
you
got
go.
kitty.
Kit, cat.
There we go. There we go. Get down. All right.
Kit,
Anyways,
cat, tit,
so, but I
Hey,
couldn't.
Yasha.
Hello.
Hey, horse nerd.
I couldn't. He's got a little dingle dong down here because like he didn't really have much for control of everything. So that's because I was hanging down. I had to hide this, and like yeah, the model kind of was weird. But whatever.
It would look weird if there wasn't a next to the table there, though. If there was underneath, it would look weird.
Well, original plan was a different kind of table, but this is the only one that actually worked for what I had. But I love that the other model had the hair that I could like drag because
The little hair dingly bit. It's
what made it.
It's an abusively adorable thing.
As she holds a bone saw.
Yes, even better. Ah, she's gonna murder him. Oh.
So I don't like what my
cute.
intent, and I actually kind of like her post here, like her on here, and I just nah.
She's got a little sway.
I was trying to think of what to have her over with science intents, but I couldn't think of anything, so I ended up just like a pony could have been a little dark, so I went with this for some reason. But anyways, for like for the background here, like to get some of the effects on these, they're actually kind of glowing. I'm kind of having to remember myself because I made these like about a month ago, over a month ago. So if I remember right, yeah, Transformers here. So you can see they're kind of going in a waveform, and so this one is just shining straight up.
It goes through all of the layers?
I have shadows turned off.
Aha, gotcha.
So if I turn shadows on, this would be like gone because
Yeah,
it's hitting. It's not even getting to it. So and because these are all flat, they're only visible from this angle. If you go up like this, they're completely dark because the light is only hitting this bottom portion. But that's the only portion I care
That's
about.
legit.
And I just threw a light down there and aimed it up, and it looked like that. And I was like, oh god, that actually works out perfect. I had to add a bunch of other lights around to try to get like the glow on the wall here and some of these extra glows on some of the details here. I think this is like a Fallout Transformer thing. So that's pretty standard, but these actually I really like how this turned out with these like ceiling things. I think that was a part of the scene build pack from the Mega Pack. And then for the lightning though, I kind of went over this once before. It's literally just a volumetric light that's very, very thin, that's using the texture of a lightning bolt. And when it's straight with the camera, so I had to make sure when I did this, so you can see it kind of weird if it's not straight. Where's my lightning bolts? That's the actor's light. There it is. So pretty sure this is the one.
It looks like the moon's cracking open from that angle. Like if like the moon's cracking open.
Yeah, I can see that. It's a round light, so
yeah.
So I made it first go a little dim, and then I had to go really bright, and just naturally with how the light the textures work, I had to keep it higher so I didn't get the super bright part, but it actually would overglow it, which is perfect. I can't remember if I had this expand or not. I originally think I was going to try that, but it didn't work because it has to work from the center, but it was to try to see if I could get it to like look like it's actually expanding out from the middle, like along the tendrils. That's the right word. I don't know what the word is for it. But I just gave up on that. So, but yeah, it actually ended up turning out pretty good, like a pretty legit lightning. So I just put some super bright lights on her sides and super bright lights back here to match with the lightning bits. So I mean, if I turn off the lightning, it looks like that. So and I think I even have her eye light. Yeah, even her eye lights get bright. So like here, if I turn off all her lights, the lights that are actually shining in her eyes actually have get brighter too. And that's just her eye lights. So and it helped add a lot because without those, this is what it looked like. And it didn't have quite the oomph to it that having it like this did. Because that she's perfectly sane, nothing wrong
Nothing wrong. Exactly.
She's freaking crazy.
Science Twilight is spoopy. It's true.
That's fine. I like puns. So in essence, there's not much. This one wasn't really complicated. The only interesting thing I kind of played around with was the volumetrics for the lightning to make that work. I don't know if anybody else had any other anything else they wanted to see in this. Otherwise, this one is fairly standard. And in terms of particles, I don't. Yeah, the only particles I think I use in this whole thing is just the magic aura for when she lifts the bone saw here. That's it. Other than that, there's no. He likes to play a game under the monitor.
I know. I wanted to get a picture of him and just put it to everyone on the thing so we can see where Joey's freaking sitting at.
So yeah, if there's any other questions, I can kind of cover how I did those on here. But like I said, it's fairly standard. Trying to think if there's anything else weird here. The clouds were easy because all I did was just have them all move, and then I just grabbed them all with local rotation, just shifted a little bit so they all moved at the same time. How's the saw fully purple? It's not. I think I actually have a light on it. Yeah, that's what this one is. I didn't actually name it yet. So it's just a single light, and it's really off at an angle. So I mean, I needed to put it off at an angle because if I kept it straight, it would have been too even, and I think it hindering your face. And I didn't want it even. Usually, if you're doing some kind of like an energy glow, the center is going to be the brightest, and then you want it to kind of die off around it. Because if it's fully lit, it looks like it doesn't belong anymore. Looks like it's separated from its environment, but if you at least have it dim somewhat towards the edges, it'll blend better with its environment, and usually that just creates a better, like, powerful look, like there, I guess. I just gotta shine a light at it until it looked good. Other than that, yeah, so this one's just like, whatever. This one only took me a week. Other one, though, has a lot more to it. If anybody has any questions on that after I close it, that's fine. I can go back to it. So this one took me 2 weeks.
Out of the 600 days that you've been using the program, it came down to an adorable Twilight with lightning bolts trying to style up in a plushie.
Yes. So this one, and
this is the cool one. This is the cool one.
Let me preload.
Time for boom.
Okay. So this one, if people haven't seen it, this one doesn't run as well as the other one. Oh, I don't have the music on. Hold on. There we go. This one's gonna probably skip here and there, depending on graphics.
Princess Twilight! You're going to give me what I want.
Your days are over, mister.
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 Skips. This is a lot of crap in it.
Oh, they're going to have to glue you back together. No!
No!
No! No! No! No!
No. Okay. This music was Godspeed by, I think, Audio Machine.
I guess
yeah.
I guess I didn't even notice music. I was so entranced.
Yeah, it was that one. When I was looking for it, I was looking for something that was started out very plain and basic, then worked to a point in which it had a full cut, because I needed that cut spot where she said the
Your days are over, mister.
So I needed a song that had a full cut, and that song did. It was very short, but it was enough to at least break it. And then I don't think I actually continued right after the cut. I actually jumped about 20 or 30 seconds in after the cut because I didn't want to. I wanted it to end when the song ended. So yeah. So for this is actually a lot of the early parts were pretty easy. Like the scene build itself is not difficult. I added a lot of smoke particles later to try to create kind of a broken up ambience to it. Otherwise, it's just did it in a lot of layers. So I had the really close rocks that usually had the nice bright edges to it, which is what these ones are. I then created some layers after that kind of went dimmer. So you had this dim layer, and then these ones that just kind of created a little bit of in between. But then the ones in the distance are just volumetric rocks with the mountains I use all the time. So.
How many times have you used those mountains?
Almost everything I've ever made.
We know it's twice at least.
But getting these to light in the distance was actually pretty difficult. I thought it was going to be easy, and then I struggled with it for a bit. So all these are the edge lights. So the actual back right here is a light that is on the skybox. Which is normally kind of a gray. I think I changed the skybox's color. Again, I can't remember. Oh, I'm not looking at the light here. I can't remember exactly which sky did I use for this. There it is. Oh, I just turned off the self-illumination. That's all it was. Because I was using it in a different video, so I couldn't actually turn off or disable it. So I just shined a red light at it then. That's what these ones are. So the actual glow comes from the actual skybox itself, and then I created these, which were just a really, really thin volumetric light that went along the edges of the mountains here, in a couple different spots, trying to keep it balanced. And what I was trying to do was trying to create that like World on Fire look, which was when you look a lot of the pictures of like apocalypse or war in the distance, it always has that glow around the edge. That's what I was trying to go for. The mountain, I'd have to work on that. I'd have to figure out where the textures are and everything for it. But I think it is on the workshop still because it's like a snow mountain resort thing, and it just came with the model. That's where I got it. So yeah, in terms of scene build, that's how this was kind of put together. And all the shots are exactly the same scene build, just kind of adjusted and made to work for that shot. Tyrek here, his walk here, I actually had this shot towards the end. It looks kind of janky, but when it went from this angle, it actually looked completely legit. And I didn't care. It was just me taking some stupid walk cycle from another part, and it actually ended up just to create an introduction. Because I knew that not many people knew the Tyrek model, so I thought an introduction that showed his body instead of his face would be more interesting than just jumping right to his face. And actually during the panel, when it was shown, there was a lot of people that got surprise sounds out of them just from this shot. Because they're like, oh my god, it's Tyrek! So I thought that was kind of cool. After that, actually I'm going to need After Effects for this too. This one is essentially it's the same thing, but where the camera goes around here, I couldn't portray the kind of distance that I wanted to with how far away things actually were. So if I stop the camera here, this is actually what's going on here. The actual rocks themselves are moving opposite the camera. To give a better feeling that the camera is moving faster than it actually is. And it works. If I tell the rocks to stop...
It's one of the oldest filmmakers' like tricks.
They
use it back in black and white to get speed up when things were.
And the first time I started playing that with that was in the Australia video, and when I did that, I was like, that's when here I'm like, I'm starting to find more places just to utilize it. But like if I make the rock stop moving, this is the speed it goes at then. But compared to then this, and it added a huge more of a feeling for it. And I've not seen an anime too where sometimes the outer bits are spinning like 4 times faster than is even physically possible for how fast they're spinning around. But sometimes it's not about being realistic, it's about making it work. Let's see here. Files are missing. Oh, that's audio. No, that is the oh, I moved them to the anthology folder, that's why. Replace this final one. I started also rendering the Australia video out in full 4K. That'll be hopefully out not too late. Okay, so this is one I'm looking for. Let's do this one. It should fix the rest. Yes, it did. Alright, so the reason I'm going into this is because when Tyrek goes to do his thing here, I'm going to drop the quality because this actually has a 4K shot in it. I rendered this one shot out in 4K while the rest I didn't set up anything. Ooh, that's loud. And I rendered it out in 4K because I wanted to create a Shockwave look, and so what I did here was I have this rendered out in 4K, and then I added a bubble effect that actually comes out, so that it's not just about zooming in, but it actually has an actual physical bubble that you can see expand out. And so it's just zooming in on the video, but because I could render it in 4K, I could zoom in and not lose or not have quality degraded. So this one shot was in 4K. That's why this one looks different, because it doesn't have that zoom in. But it added a lot to it to have that zoom, so that's one with it. Otherwise, like Tyrek here was just pretty standard. I mean, again, it's pretty standard. The rocks explosion is the TF2 rock one that I use a lot. It just kind of explodes out of nowhere. There's
particle effect.
No, the rocks are not a particle effect. They're when the payload is dropped in the center hole, it's one of the explosions of rocks that comes out.
So it's an actual animation of individual.
Yeah, well, and each of them is animatable, so I can manipulate them, which I'll get to more later. The ground smoke is just, again, the smoke in the distance. It's kind of floating around here. But other particles I used here was I don't know where dust explosion is. Oh yeah, you can see the kind of smoke kind of filtering out here. That was Beastmaster's Primal Roar. And I don't think I changed that very much. That was pretty standard from what it was. I think I just changed the color from it. It was just to make smoke expand from a center point, and that's all that was. And then Shockwave.
Where did you find something called Beastmaster Primal Roar?
Beastmaster's a character in Dota.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, this
right,
all of them start with the character.
I can always forget that Dota has assets they can use.
And so the Primal Roar Shockwave, other than Dust, is the same. So the same character I just used. And the problem with these Shockwaves, though, is that they're all 2D planes. So if you get really like down to this level, it doesn't work. So I was kind of worried it wouldn't work here, but it still kind of created a helpful effect there, though it's not really noticeable, so I really probably didn't need to keep it. Anyways, from there, I just moved up here. This is a horrible walking sequence, but I wanted a break from him because it made it easier for animating, and it wasn't very consistent then with just staring at his face. He just kind of does a two-step here.
Your little tappy sound.
And I did have on here, if you look at the audio bits, I did add in a lot of like walking sounds and magic sounds, but I'll get to that when I get to that part. So, yeah, welcome Tyrek. Animating him to actually have it so that all his hair moved correctly, at least with the wind, was kind of an ass, but it was at least the bones were done pretty well, so that made it pretty easy. His mouth, Tyrek is very much made to be angry. Making surprised or happy is impossible with him. He is very much an angry person. Yeah, because I mean, this is about as happy as I could possibly get him if I wanted to. So
Are his cheekbones? Oh no. Are his? He looks like Elvis from that point. No. The salt.
fingertips.
He's high right now. This is the LSD. This is the LSD tier. My hand is so big, man. Look at you. You ever thought about hands, man?
Hand.
So, are the little cheek bones that they have in Tyrk model just not able to be moved to make it
Well, his face is
simulate
like
a upper? Because his face is all like downwards, and it looks like it's drooping down.
well, like ponies are their default face is a smile, so it's easier for them. But then doing angry and stuff is more difficult with the original ones. They've added a lot more detail to them now. But before it used to be that angry and stuff was harder to do because their default was more of a smile.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just like I don't remember if he actually has even a smile flex. I can't remember.
It would be really funny if he did it.
Yeah, he has smirk.
Oh, he has smirk.
So like this is
the angry happy.
so this is like his default mouth.
That's not
But
bad.
if you go smirk,
that's not bad. That's not bad from the front, I guess. He has more teeth.
But okay, let's go and do his eyes.
Oh.
He's super fucking surprised.
He looks like an owl.
But like happy is like no. It looks more like he's just
God.
he like got stabbed in the eye or something.
With his own cheek.
But it kind of like deformation here. But I mean that's not really the modeler's fault. It's just when you have textures that close. But so yeah, I had to be kind of careful on how I portrayed certain emotions of his.
Happy, angry.
But the nice thing is that his mouth was so animated in motion that it actually made it look pretty cool because it wasn't just a mouth moving; it was his whole jaw. But that did require that I had to do some pretty heavy manipulation of it. I even went through and like here in his nose ring, have that bounce. So at a certain point, so, but I wanted to be as detailed as I could. So yeah, like this is otherwise fairly standard. There's nothing compared to the other shots. This is about the same. I had to really F with his shoulders, yank him back because I was trying to do like that Dragon Ball Z look, and with how the arms are positioned, but his arms had to be really fucked around with to do that. Then this one is Twilight Sun, not give a shit and be like, fuck you, I'm here. So the effects in here were pretty standard. This is just the
Bubble Fairy Explosion.
the lens flare. That's just the standard one. I've covered that many times before.
You did a tutorial on that, didn't you?
I made it. Well, the textures I didn't make, but I made it so that it was easy to use and downloadable. It's originally from Dota. Though I wish there was some that had a larger center and smaller ends, but I could always make that though. But what is so again the standard ground smoke. So Twilight's teleport is oh, it did go in there. Loot Greevil Death End, whatever that is.
Greevil Death End. That's awesome.
And this one had a bunch of stuff to it, a bunch of add-ons.
I feel like Greevil.
There was some extra effects that I had to turn off because it didn't work. Like, there's certain aspects of a particle that, when random and working in engine, it's fine. But when you go to render it, it just like goes wonky and goes fucked up. So I couldn't use that. But otherwise, I just about only changed the coloration on this and then disabled a couple pieces. In essence, this is about the same as the particle cam without just the color changes, because it just looked like a teleport. So I went with it. Plus, it was super bright, so it allowed me to pop in her model, because without the particle, she just kind of like goes, just pops right in there.
So how did you find that one animation particle effect out of the slew that you have? Do you literally just go through? Oh my god.
Well, usually, like, I needed a swing particle effect for something, and so I went on Dota's website, looked at people that had a sword, because I knew they would narrow it down. Or like if I need a teleport, I'd go for somebody that sounds like a magic type name, so I can narrow it down a little bit. But yeah, Dota has a lot to work with, but that's what I like about it too. Other than that, like this, then here there was just a bright light, and then she just kind of swings down, and then just goes into the default flying pose. And then yeah, Tyrek here just kind of steps back. He's like holy shit, there's a pony. Other than that, he's pretty standard. Like getting his tail to blow in the wind took time and all that, but the artificial wind, you know, the one that's not blowing the smoke.
On the scene, he popped. It's a scene transition.
I had to play around the rocks here a lot. Oh, how did I just appear? Twilight is. I just took Twilight at this point and just dragged her to another part of the map. So in essence, she's actually down below the rocks. So she's right there. And then when she pops in, pops over there. So.
Yeah, sir. Maybe it's just magic. What can't you believe, man?
I did a lot. Like, they can just pop it up in the frame. Usually, if you do that though, where it's an instant drop from one point to another, the frame in which they do that will have them be half visible. So it's not like that. The only way to be able to do that is with like rendering twice and doing a cut. So anytime you do a teleport or a change of a model with them instantly from one position to another, there will be one frame right between them that will have them be in both positions at once by 50%. So, and that is because if you zoom in as much as you want to this, it's not an instant drop. It actually does transition, even though that's like 1/100th of a second. So yeah, and so for this, they had to position all the rocks. I chose these rock models because they actually look really cool when they have light shining on them, really bright.
It reminded me of the Doom 2016 rocks, to be perfectly honest. They reminded me of that sort of thing.
I think they're from Batman Arkham Asylum. A lot of the models that I'm using for the super detailed stuff in the scene build pack are from Batman.
That makes sense.
I figured that out because when I was going through the models, I ran across one that said Arkham. So
like, wait, you didn't like download the Arkham set? You just downloaded?
No, there's a scene build pack that was like 4 gigs or something like that. One unpacked. It has like hundreds of models, thousands of models, and a lot of them were just resized at the same ones because they existed back before they had any of the resizing options like we do now. So they just made 8 different sizes of everything. But they had really good bump maps, and then I had to play with the lighting to make sure that it created these edge lighting. There's a lot of different lights used just across the ground to better light and make it feel realistic. Other than that, it's pretty standard too. Don't keep them all underground until needed, but do you find heretics go crazy? Well, yeah, they go crazy, but like here, I didn't even animate her doing that transition until I've already locked down the jiggles, and because of that, the jiggles were locked. So I mean, all of them are as the bones. So even here, like they're kind of going nuts, but I really didn't care at this point because I couldn't see her. She was gonna be
fairy fire.
Yeah, she was gonna be like in the fairy fire. So
I'm really kind of
fairy fire.
I was kind of. Oh no, you don't. I was kind of waiting for the sound of like a. Oh god, I don't know where it is from, but it's the one where it goes boom boom. Kind of like it has a little bit of a high pitched, like almost like horn noise when they teleport. Oh my god. I shouldn't have said anything now that I just said that. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I can't even remember. Okay, brain. Off to a good start.
Okay, wrong button. All right. So this so for the teleport, that was just basically a standard thing. I just had it gets bright, and then I have the flare cut in at the end, so the flare is the last thing. So it kind of felt like this was doing a wide to a thin, like from horizontally thinning, and then this or the lens flare coming up afterwards looked like it was expanding out really thinly again, kind of like a molding of space time. I don't know. When I timed it like that, it made it feel the best. So that's pretty standard. Other than this, you got Twilight doing Twilight things. This background I had to kind of actually create a little bit more from scratch than the rest because of the angle that she's at. But then she does her stupid.
Your days are over, mister.
I realize I don't think I have an eye light on her in this shot. No, I do not. I probably should have done that, but I don't care. And this one I rushed through because I didn't even care. She was making something stupid. So yeah, there's nothing weird about this shot at all. And then T-Rex doing his thing here. Because I knew that this part was going to probably bring up a laugh. So if I immediately jumped into something else, it would have caused a conflict between laughing and things happening. So I wanted to make sure this is kind of my cooldown here from after the laugh.
Who voiced Twilight? Oh, that's an easy one.
That's I will show you who voiced Twilight.
Just play the whole scene. You're playing now, mister. I want to get his ass beat.
It actually shows me. So this is from Kung Pao. So this is from here.
Your days are over, mister.
I just thought it was funny.
This is
that
the most
audio.
brilliant movie of all time.
I originally thought about using that, but there's too much other noises going on. So yeah, that's all it was from.
Your days are over, mister.
Oh. I mean that scene, and I think two others with the we are
both ventriloquists. I swing of it slow, I swing of it faster.
And then the one where they're beating him with sticks. Okay, I'll tell you when to stop. And then just
okay, you can throw us off now.
They're tired. It's just like, did he tell us that you didn't say anything?
Whack!
Wait, guys.
Yeah,
we should stop. No. Okay.
I had some people in the comments for the video that were like, the Kung Pao reference got me because Pika Petey made a comment that was like a different line, and we went. There was within a couple comments we continued the same thing.
Man, Kung Pao was a masterpiece of film.
Yeah, Kung Pao is an amazing movie.
The way they made it was almost as amazing as the actual film itself. All blue screen, the entire thing blue screen.
I love that they train Squeaky's shoes to be terrible at fighting. Yes, Wimp Low. I watched the movie so many times. I got it down pat. Anyways, so that's who does the amazing voicing.
Your days are over, mister.
What's that? So yeah, and then this is where people actually start to care about the stuff that I know. So the backflip was. I'm gonna turn off the particles so I can show you. She just does a pretty simple flip. This is without particles. So I just made her like kind of bunch up and like she's like, and then just had the limbs go out and then have them pulled in, and then the lights kind of stay there. And then just have the lights go. It actually was a bitch to get the lights to light on those wings correctly. I think I have some specific to the wing. Yeah, some of these are like specific to the wings because I just couldn't get the lighting in without.
You mean you painted them specifically for the wings?
No, like this is a light that's only for the wing.
Oh, okay.
Because I just couldn't get the lights to work. You even see it ramp up here, and I just couldn't get the lighting in the wings to look good at this angle.
I thought you meant you painted your own texture for the wing.
Oh, fuck that. Crap. So yeah, the wings are a bitch. But so that's where the actual light for her comes from. Besides that, for particles, There's the obviously flare. I gotta do that because it was coming up. Getting that to actually get brighter and not doing that was a bit difficult. But it kind of went through her, and I was okay with that. Because I wanted a big bright light. This was the particle that probably is the biggest bitch to get to work, to get it to, because it doesn't quite follow her. But I eventually just kind of putzed with it and made something work out of it. But I wanted something that was drawing in energy, so that's what that was. And this particle is called Tower Bad Lamp. Very descriptive for what it's doing. Bad lamp. Bad lamp. Bad. No, let's take a look at this one. I can't remember what... I know I did some modifications, but in essence that's all it is. And I just colored it purple. And I did it purple, but I also still maintained it was a light purple and a purple, so that it kind of created these like white lights in it, which I thought was kind of a cool look. Oh, hey, Epic.
Oh. There we go.
And so it took me like an hour to figure out that damn particle, how to make it actually like not be stupid, because originally when I started doing it, it would just create itself like over, like way off to the side, so as she was going it just left behind these particles. I hate particles. So this is the one that's probably going to take me the longest to explain. So I don't even think that there is the same between these. Yeah, I got to actually move her position. Where'd she go? So first let me explain the background here, because this took me a while to do. So this is basically built already to be kind of in well, here, let me show what it does first, and then I'll explain it a little bit better. So I'll run it in slow-mo. Super slow. Pretty. Anyways, so what I did for the rocks here is there is, I think, and that's, you can say there's like 3 pieces to this. So there's the standard ground, which is a lot of these. Do I have these separated? Yes. One of the first comments was that was it looked like a magic sneeze. So if I remove those rocks, I did kind of add some extra ones back here to make a crater, but it really didn't matter because you can't even really see it from here. Especially as your focus is mainly along the giant purple beam of death. So the rocks that are coming up are the same one that I used at the beginning here for this. It's the exact same particle effect. All I did different for this bit was that I added more of them, and I made it so that over time they shifted that direction. So so you can see what actually lifts up. They're just exploding. It's like you can actually see explosion, and then I just drag them. But then when it kind of hit a certain point that I consider to be the slowdown time, I just grabbed the rock explosions here. I just grabbed it like this bit right here, and then I just extended time with Alt to make it look like it was then going slow-mo. So, but the rocks that are probably the ones that took the longest to do were these ones. So these rocks, just there, that was selected. Here we go. Were ones that I wanted to make it feel like the whole world itself was like shifting and moving along it. So what I, in essence, did was I just took one of these and so this is what one of them looks like. It's really simple, but this is all it does. It goes up and it shifts out, and then it bounces back a little bit. That was all in essence, all I needed it to do. Then all I had to do was copy that one all the way across both directions, and then every like 2 frames, I would take the next ones in line and shift them a little bit in time, a little bit, and then take the next group a couple frames later, shift it again, and do it again and again and again and again and again until I got it so that that animation just kind of followed in that track. Let's get like that look. So that was actually pretty easy to do, but I did it wrong the first time. I actually think I have a second layer. Yeah, I added a second layer that went up higher because it didn't feel like it did enough as it was. And that one, like that back layer, was I think timed just slightly off of the original one. Yeah, so that made it feel like it was a shockwave out from the center instead of just like the whole thing going up and then back down again. So it turned out really good, I think.
It was fucking legit.
It was very minor. Like if I were to not have those move, and like we just kept the rock the same as here, it would look like this. And to me, those rocks exploding out are a huge part of that. I mean that, because that actually makes it feel like there's power behind it. So, like it's actually shifting the world underneath it. The background itself was pretty standard. Like a lot of the lights on here, I have one light that follows the main center point of what I thought the beam was, but even then, for the actual shot coming out, you barely can see it. Only right at the end there. So it was like whatever. But I will get into the particle effects now. So what I needed it to be was I needed it to be a beam, which is hard. I needed to have a bullet tip. So something that was at the front of it that was pushing so that it and felt like a larger ball that was moving. And I needed the shockwaves that kind of lingered and created that extra effect. So for this effect that was coming off, there's a lot of particles here. Yeah, actually I think I could call it electric bullet. Yeah, so that's what this is. So I'm going to probably disable all of these, and so that I can just pull them up one at a time and show what each piece does. So I know particles confuse the hell out of people.
It's because they're actually kind of complicated.
Well, they're an old system. So this is what Twilight looks like when she thought she did something cool and didn't. So
it was a wet fart.
So the electric bullet is this. It just creates like a big spark, and then it just follows that line, and then just dwindles. The actual particle I used for that was Enchantress Impetus. Impetus. Impetus?
I don't know.
This is an I.
Impetus. Enchantress Impetus. Initial 1.
Sounds like something from Harry Potter.
Impetus.
Enchantress Impetus!
That actually sounds like you're making them impotent.
I do not like your advances, but Planter's Impetus.
Goodbye.
Good day, sir. So this one, the problem with this one was I had to actually have this one move, so it wasn't like animating a point moving it. I had to actually move it. This one, I think, if I remember right, was a bitch to make. So it's actually positioned along a path. I don't know if there's multiple control points. I'm trying to remember this. Yeah, so there was 2 different control points set up. So one was the beginning and one where it was supposed to go to. And then I used the position along path to kind of move along that path. And then I just used, to create that bulge at the beginning, was would have been radius scale, which means that at the beginning it was 3.5 times its normal size, and at the end it was 1/10 of its normal size. That's why it was really big and they got really small. And then it just kind of lingered behind it, because it was constantly creating the particle as it was moving, and so the ones behind it were just getting smaller. It itself wasn't moving. It's just constantly creating new ones, and each time each one created and then starts to die and gets smaller, so it looks like something that's moving. So then I just had to do that, and then I had it set to a local plane so that I could just position and kind of aim it where I want. So
Whoops, that's the wrong way.
Bam!
She just shot Mercury. Oh god.
But that meant that when I made out the beams and everything, I had to try to adjust it to try to match it exactly, because a little bit off could create it not look right.
How do you rotate a particle system?
Rotating a particle system is a bitch. Normally, a lot of them, you can't rotate within the particle editor itself. You have to do the rotating, or you have to do the rotating in the particle editor, which means that you have zero control with it. It's kind of a little more random. Some of these, though, have a nice little feature, and I believe this one did. I'm trying to remember. Unless it might have actually just been built into it. But, like, say I went to go and use position on box within box random. There's usually a box with some of these that will have one that says use local space. So if I create the particle, normally that box will just be as it is, no matter how the particle is rotated. But if I tell it to use local space, the box is locked to that.
Do we forget that there's epilepsy?
So the box is going to be locked to the local space or the local position of that particle. So if I rotate the particle, the box will rotate too. Both have their uses, but I really prefer local space control if I have it. But I don't want to destroy the particle, so I'm going to go back to that. So I needed something I was going to create just a forward thrust, I guess, for it. And originally, like, it didn't look like this. A lot of these particles were done where I was creating a couple different pieces, and then I would find something else that was really cool, and I would, like, modify it to work for that and get rid of some and add new ones. And so it was a very fluid process of adding different pieces over time until I finally came up with something that worked. So this is what I would consider the bullet. This was what was giving it direction. If I just made a beam otherwise, it would be instantly created from the beginning to end, but I wanted it to look like it was emanating from her. So that's what the purpose of this one was. The aura, I'm trying to remember what some of these are. Oh, the aura is a very similar effect, but it was just to create kind of like a glowy feel to the beam afterwards. So like I had an electrical feel. And I believe that one just I know some of these were attached originally to trying to remember. Yeah. All right. So this model looks a little weird because of just that's how the coloration works in it. Is a telephone pole. And I was using it because what it did was that it actually shrunk in size. So it started small. So you can actually see. Let me see if I could probably get rid of these overrides and fix that. Okay, so you can actually see.
It's a telephone pole. It's compromised position.
Yes. So I was using it to attach a lot of the particles to, and originally this is what I was going to use for the actual beam itself until I found out a better method because I couldn't find a way otherwise. And so as she's going, but the schlong get long, and that is what the particle of this like electric effect is actually attached to. So okay, it's less compromising like that.
Maybe we shouldn't unbox some of the animation. Maybe some things should be left to the imagination. Yeah, there's a telephone pole somewhere in there. It's so great.
Alright, so this is when she summons the telephone pole of phallic wonder.
Drilling the earth.
But originally that's why like it had this glow effect, because when I was originally doing this, it was to be that glow, but it doesn't work with some of the skyboxes and stuff, so that's why like some of these don't actually look visible until I actually put a model in front of it of some types. But a lot then these other ones behind her get rid of it, so that's why I decided to scrap that idea, because it was being stupid. So if I put those two together, that's what you get, kind of that. So I don't actually need that visible though. I'm going to do the beam last, because I want to cover that last. So the lens flare is going to be, there's a specific one for charging. So there's this one. But then after she fires, that's really small. And I actually have it kind of dim and go away. But this is the firing one, because I wanted it at the time that it's fired to create a brighter, larger effect, and then have it dim as it went. So there's actually two different lens flare effects. They're essentially the same thing, just copy pasted, and then one was just modified slightly. The drawing power was still here, but it's mainly at the beginning, and then it goes away. I don't use it after that. It actually literally just disappears and just. But too much other crap is going on. The Shockwave was one of the ones I hated the most because I originally had one that was within a 3D space, so it actually was forward and backwards and it looked better. But by making it go in the 3D space, like to have multiple layers of it, it also shifted it around that center axis, and so it wasn't centered anymore, and I couldn't get it to center. And it was being a dick, so I just said fuck it, and we're gonna do it like this. So I have one that goes out really, really fast. That's what this one is. So it's like the initial shockwave. It just goes bam, and that one shoots out quickly. But then I have another one that goes slower and a little dimmer that just kind of lingers behind. So together, that one that's like feels like that initial shot, and then that another one that's just that lingering to kind of still create a shockwave effect without it just disappearing and being gone. So these are the ones that I have different timings for, and it's just dependent as the beam travels. So you can see from the bullet when it's passing through. It's the exact same particle effect, and actually this is the same shockwave effect that I was using at the beginning, but because you can see here that it is not centered. They're all over the place. But I felt for this it didn't really matter, and it made it easier. So it's just to create kind of an extra little shockwave effect as it traveled. But I had to create multiple versions of it. So if you look at this one's start time, it's 25.83. And this one's start time is 25.87. So it's just it's fine. I just essentially looked at this and said, where is it at this point, and then just retimed it to make it work.
Oh, Fear Not This Night's playing. You have Fear Not This Night by Guild Wars 2? Fear not this night.
Yes.
You are not.
You're off timing.
What? It's one of my favorite songs. Have you heard the piano version done by that one guy? There's a solo piano version.
Do you ever heard that piano by that one guy?
It's a solo piano version of that song. It's fantastic. It's a 10-minute version.
I played Guild Wars 2 for like months. I played Guild Wars 2 a while back. When it first opened, I played it for like two months.
I played it at a friend's house back in the day.
Oh, I loved that game until they nerfed jumping. Jumping was the funnest part.
Them jumping.
But all right, so that's the shockwave effect for that. So there's a lot of these effects are just going to be for the lighting on the ground. So like here, this is the one that follows the bullet itself, and that's why you can't really see it, but it does kind of add a little bit at least. This is the tight version. So tight meaning that this is going to be the brighter center line of light. And then this one is the dimmer one that follows afterwards. So you put those two together and you get a nice energy center with a lingering light behind it. And then this was I thought it said Mega Crater. It was just the beginning here, just to create that nice effect at the beginning. But when I was towards the end of this, I'll show you what everything kind of looks like together now, because that should be all. Oh no, actually, here's the beam. So we'll do the beam now. So the beam is a rope, and ropes are a bitch. Oh, sorry, Twy, you're glowing schlong today. So a single rope by itself looks like this, which kind of worked, but the rope has this problem of it's a flat start. It's flat on its edges, and it just kind of was shitty. And that didn't really match what I wanted. I didn't want her shooting Tetris pieces at people. I want her shooting a giant beam of light. And this only worked from this angle too, because ropes, if you start getting at this angle, don't work so well. So, because it's all a single texture. So the rope, if I remember right, yeah. So the rope's actual like bone, if it's attached to both bones, or the control point. So the control point at the beginning is where she starts, and then this is the one that I expand out how I need.
Hey Mario, I haven't seen you in a while.
And so the problem with the ropes too is I can't test it. There's no anything to really test here. I might, well, I wonder if I can just type in some numbers here. Okay, so there. You can kind of test it, but still, it's kind of a bitch. So, what this does is there's two radius scales. So again, it says its start point and its end point. So the start point is it starts at 1, so that's why it doesn't fade from nothing. It actually starts at a decent size. Extends to 6, and that's at a start time of 0 with an end time of 0.1. So within 0.1 seconds, it goes from its base normal 1 size, which means it just pop into existence, and then expand to 6 times its size. That's where it expands out to. And then its second radius scale is to go from 6, which is what it was before, and you have to make sure this match, to 0, so fade to nothingness, at a start time of 0.1, so when the other one ends, and go till 1. So within the first 1/10 of a second, it grows, and then for the rest of the second, it will shrink down into nothingness. And then I have it just fade alpha decay, so it actually will fade away after that. And then movement maintain position along path, so that's why it's attached. The rope is attached to both control points, and that's why I can move it like that. So the rope itself, they're super complicated and difficult to figure out, but once you get it, it's not that bad. It's just that their kind of quality is crappy.
Ocean capture equipment. That'll be interesting.
But because this beam didn't look that great by itself, I had I did what I did once before for bullet trails, where I wanted a energetic center, and a center that made it feel like I had high energy, which normally is a white. So that's what this was, is basically white in the middle. But I wanted to have then the outside of it that was larger would be the color of the purple that I want. So what I did, so if you remember, the other one was size of 6, 1/10 of a second. This one, if I remember right, I can't remember. I think I might have this one survive a little longer. Nope, it's 1 second. Okay, so this is a lifetime. So if I remember right with the time, and I actually had the time wrong, so it's not 1/10 of a second, it's 1/10 of its lifetime. So it says that within the first 1/10 of its lifetime to scale up, and then for the last 9/10 to scale down. So its lifetime for this one is 1.1. And if I go to this one, its lifetime is 0.8. So that means that the second particle that is shot out lasts a little longer, and then this one is a little bit longer than that. So what this does is that this one then is a slight purple, a kind of a pink. So they both come out at the same time, but because this one survives longer, its percentages go out a little bit more. So while they're expanding, the purple expands just a little longer because its 1/10 is a little bit longer, and it will take longer then to dissipate. And so you're left with then a lighter purple. Well, then I just did it again with a deeper purple. And then again with another purple. So then it led to a nice bright center that would fade away, and it would fade to darker and darker purples to make it seem like the energy was dissipating. And it created a nice effect that looked like that. But to make sure that they didn't overlap, this only works from this angle because the particles themselves are actually next to each other. So they were.
So you can't really see them because they're butts when they look at them from that angle.
Yeah, so that's why they're set up in such a way that this particle was in front to ensure that it was always in front. So if I were to shift this camera really cool around that point, like from here it works, but if I were to go up and above, you're going to start running into a situation where now it's not centered, and then it's going to start having the other ones take over. So this particle effect, as I have it set up right now, only works from this one angle, but it worked pretty damn good. And I was kind of worried that like this flat end at the end would be difficult, but that lens flare here hides that so well. So I didn't even care.
That shit is on point though.
Yeah, and it worked out well. So then I put everything in here. Oh, and I get these next. I keep going to add more, and then I forget that the still have stuff. So these are just volumetric lights. These aren't actual particles. So they're volumetric lights of just some random transmutation circle thing I looked up, and I have them start from nothingness, expand, spin opposite directions, and they just kind of spin slower and then start slowing down and expanding along the same line. But it's, I don't know, it's very anime, I guess, to have the to have like the transmutation circle kind
Just
of
a little bit.
transmutation circle.
Well, I mean, it looks like a transmutation.
Well, without these.
It gives it oomph.
Well, and actually, a lot of what I was trying to copy here was using the holy magic from Final Fantasy Brave Exvius when I've been playing it.
Yeah.
Which was very similar to how it did
I was
that.
about to say, that doesn't look so much anime as it looks like Final Fantasy.
That's what I was using their holy attack, because in that one it was where a bright beam comes down and it has like the circles come in, and then just before or when it starts glowing, the transmutations come together and then it launches the beam down and then they go flying back again. And so I was trying to copy that a little bit, but I didn't have the impact, so I had to do just the pre-part. So that's what I went with. So the effect ends up looking like this. Oh, I don't want to hide this. Without the transmutation. But I felt like these gave it depth. A nice depth feel. Like it was, then it felt three-dimensional. So, but when I made this, the one thing I didn't like was that it had this nice strong beam, but it felt still like it wasn't blending with the background very well. It was just a giant bright beam. I mean, even if you put in the lights here, it didn't feel like it fit yet. The rope particle, I got it off, I think, the workshop from something. I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I swear I got it out of the workshop, and they're not gonna. I don't have the thing for cheating it to figure out where I got it again. Yeah, there. If you look up rope on the workshop, I believe there is one that's made there. And when I downloaded that, and then mainly because then I could take a particle that already was pre-created with the rope and then saw how it worked, and so it was basically I used it for study. But no, so this beam didn't feel like it blended very well. So I wanted to give it like an aura feel to it. And so I just cheated it, and I used volumetric lights. So this is a very thin volumetric light that's coming from this side. And it expands out and kind of dims and kind of goes away. So it's a volumetric light that's just getting larger and then fades away. But even that didn't feel right to me still. So I added two other ones that are these really, really kind of dim, thin lights. But you can see these little lines right here. Those are super, super thin volumetric lights that helped give it a little extra direction, like a shockwave feel coming out from the beam. And that is probably my actually favorite part of this particle effect, is those just tiny little volumetric lights that are in there. And I felt that those added probably more to it than anything else.
Though it gives it more, like, body.
Yeah, it just, once I made those, I was like, oh wow, I really like that. And it's so...
It gives a lot more, like, whoom. It gives it more body.
Yeah, because once it gets to this point, it's dark enough that I wasn't worried about it. And but at this point, it's just this compared to this just wasn't the same. And these were like an addition I made like the day right before I started rendering, and I was really happy with the result.
So the day before Bernie got.
This video I got done.
Oh, that's right.
The due date was like July 1st, I believe.
That's right. You were doing the anime one, like 2 days before. You're like, I rendered it. I got it. It's all good.
Well, I had most of that rendered like Sunday night.
Yeah.
I just had to. There was like one shot I had to do, so I just rendered it that evening. That was good. So yeah, that's essentially like all the bits of this particle effect to put it together. Up and the rocks. So I was really happy with this, but this whole shot took me like 2 days or 2 evenings, so probably about 8 to 10 hours to put together. But a lot of it was spent trying to just figure shit out. Like I just like, how do I make this work? How do I make this work? But like I said, that white in the center just creates that nice energy look that just makes it feel like, even though this is just white with overlaying different purples, it literally feels like the center is glowing, even though it's just this. It's no different than just a white texture. That's all it is. But it gives the feeling of a glow. So.
Boom. Boom, motherfucker.
Boom. So yeah, this was so that's that one. And in terms of Twilight for this, I really didn't care about putting too much detail into her. The main things I was worried about was just creating an effect that, because when the rocks slow down, I had to make sure that she slowed down too. So that's what that was. But I needed to make sure that her tail was probably the most detailed as possible, because from this angle, the one thing you can see the most is the tail. So that was what I wanted to add to. But even then, I was actually kind of happy with how the wings turned out and all that too. Because like even like how much they make the wingtips flap. So,
yeah, I think the biggest part of that I saw was the wings and how they kind of like furled a little bit as the
and I didn't
wave of air went by.
Because the camera shaking, I wasn't worried about adding like impact feel to her. I just needed to get her into positions. So, but then also making it so like when her head was coming down here, that like at the last second, she was already far back, but I had to figure out a way to make her head actually go back further. And then to make it look like her body was trying to propel her forward, but her head was saying no. Was essentially what I was going for. Oops. So yeah, that's that one. Does anybody else have any other questions for that shot specifically? Because that shot had a lot to it. In terms of the background, it was standard. That was exactly the same as all the other shots. Just to make sure I didn't miss anything.
You didn't.
Oh, you were? Okay,
I'm watching. I'm keeping a look
right.
over your shoulder. I'm backseat driving.
If you have a question about anything, just let me know and I can still get back to it. I couldn't just jump to a shot of the explosion because that would have been a bad transition, especially since like the later bits, layers are going forward. But for this entire shot, she's actually aiming it technically at the ground. So I wanted a break to separate it a little bit. So that's what this shot was for. And this shot is really just simple. I mean, it's just a light falling on the ground and then coming up to his face, where I just increase the brightness of the camera, shake the camera a bunch, and then in post add it a little bit more so that it wasn't like these dark patches that made it more of a whiteout.
I thought he looked appropriately nonplussed during the entire ordeal. He looks very like...
Well, that's about as surprised as I could make him.
That's as surprised as possible.
He can be angry.
He can be surprised angry, but only a little bit surprised. He's like, oh no.
So yeah, that's pretty was pretty simple. I thought originally I was thinking about moving the rocks, make it look like it was going faster, but I didn't. So yeah, nothing special. So then this shot was one that I probably redid 3 or 4 times. Originally when I was doing this, I was spending a lot of time putting a lot of detail at the bottom, thinking that I had to have it there. But when I put all the detail in, it just felt weird. So I ended up redoing it to instead that literally this is just a simple texture flat to the ground. I didn't care. So what this is just a bunch of mountains overlaid on top of each other. Whole crap load, because I needed to make it look like it was far into the distance, and then just varying over volumetric lights into the distance to make it feel like it was large and expansive. So because a lot of these shots relied on a couple mountains being shown into the distance. By going and showing lots of them at this point, it was my way of trying to show that we were super far out because of that difference in perspective. This one took me 2 weeks to make, which seems like a super quick amount of time, but scene builds are what take me the longest amount of time because I put a lot of effort into them. And these ones only had like 3 different scene builds. Well, like some of the other ones I've made before required dozens. So, and all of them could share resources to a degree. Also, it was at a deadline to have it finished in 2 weeks, so that's why I did it in 2 weeks, because that's all I had time for. So for this, I just have a light expand. There's, I believe, kind of like an aura thing that I did here. Like kind of a little thing there. And that is, there's a lot of, oh yeah, remember, there's not that many particles in this. A lot of it was models and lights. We will figure out, I think this is the one. Yeah, so this is initial explosion. It is called Husker Life Break Glow Large. I like that because it kind of created like a shiny rainbow glow from the center. And then it's just a lens flare. So yeah, this is the same thing as before. So lens flare is separated into 2. So this one starts big and then gets smaller, but I have the light expand from there. So it's just a standard light that's expanding, and then the explosion happens. So when I was building this map, I made sure that along this line, all the mountain models that were there were only models that were affecting that specific line down that track, so that I could move them or do anything with them without affecting mountains way off in the distance or on the sides. So without the particles on, when that thing hits, a couple of the models along that line go down. They're just getting out of the way. So you can see here, they kind of all go down in a line. The same rock, the one I've been using over and over and over again, that with the flying rocks in the air, is the exact same thing. Oops. And just like with the shockwave of the rocks in the last shot coming out, it's about the exact same thing here. So these rocks come up from the ground, straight up at first, kind of tilting up, but then as they're going, that's when I wanted it to split. So I wanted it to look like it was exploding out of the earth and it was shoving it back. Let me turn off the mountains here, so you can see that this is what this is doing. And actually have it mold the ground here to have it dim or bring the actual ground down, because this ground model actually let that work that way. I added a couple small ones at the beginning because this is where the initial blast comes from. And then I needed some kind of a shockwave or something that was emanating from the point of origin. So I took one of these models and animated it like expanding outwards. Then I just copied it, did a 180, copied that again, moved them both 90, copied all those again, moved it 45, and I just kept doing it until it filled this full circle. And just that's how that came about. And then I just copied it again and expanded them out further. So it looked like a expanding circle of rock, and that's ended up looking like this when it was done. And I opened up the front there because that was where the explosion was coming from. Kind of looks cool when you look at it from that angle.
How long was that shot in total? How many frames?
2 seconds, so these are 24 frames per second, so about
48.
50. Well, this is just over 2, so
50 frames is a very short time.
but it was very impactful.
I know. I'm just saying, like, all this work for
But do you think the whole Strayo video was? Yeah.
You couldn't measure it on your fingertips. Little thumbnail would be all it would be.
So,
It's so fantastic.
So that's in terms of the models moving. That was about it. There wasn't really much other than that for physical models that were.
Hi, Mike. I know she needs a hug, Michael, but I can't because she has the sickness. She has the plague, which Funny thing, the plague was found on lice in. I think it was either Africa or it was. I think it might have been found in Africa. Or Australia, one of those two. But they have confirmed that the plague was a thing. It is on lice and fleas right now in the one of those two countries.
All right,
so hooray!
So I turned off all particles.
She has the flu.
This is no particles. That was all done with so.
That still looks extremely legit, though. I almost kind of think that it was over exaggerated particles. That little spiral of debris looks. Well, I mean, like this right here. The little oomph looks.
Smoke.
No, just the debris of the ground doing a little spiral and having the impact. It looks really fucking good. It looks really fucking good.
This was an actual model I found that was used for. So that I'm talking about is this one. Was a model that was used just for doing it, where you expand it really, really big and use it for a sky to have clouds cross.
Oh, it was a skybox.
But it had two separate bones, one for the interior, one for the exterior. So I had it expand from the center really quick and had it spin opposite directions.
So you just pulled it. That's interesting. And I was also talking about the ground cover, those rocks that push out of the ground.
Those turned out really well.
From afar away, it looks more than legit. It looks.
Well, and the focus for the camera is right here.
Yeah.
So that's why this part was blurred, which was done purposefully because it made it look way better. And this was the part that I thought looked better in focus. I didn't want people focusing on where it was coming from. I wanted to focus on where it was going. So,
Wait, did you change the depth of field in that shot? Did you dynamically change the depth of field in that shot?
I don't remember if I have it set.
Did you pull in?
No, it stays
all
essentially
set.
the same.
The depth of field actually is
It's
far, but
it's 9,000.
Even the close,
but it does go over
9,000.
9,000.
Yeah, over 9,000. But it doesn't. Even the close doesn't pull to. It doesn't diffuse.
And there is a
far.
change of perspective here, though. When that hits, I actually separated smooth and shake because I wanted to make sure. Once you start shaking it, it's hard to go back. So the field of view here actually changes. So it actually does do this effect, like it goes a little bit of fisheye, because usually when you have an explosion or something, you doing that helps create a more impactful
there's
feel.
the Call of Duty version of an explosion where they do a little bit of fisheye with the camera.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Even in Call of Duty 2, I think they had a bit of a fisheye on explosions, which was kind of insane back in 2002.
So this is for models. That's all that was. For lights, I needed it to be really bright in the center. So, magic light. I'm going to shut all these off. That's not all of them. Magic light ground zero. That was that. And which is? Oh, I added another one. There we go. Okay, come on. Okay, beam. That's what it was.
I mean, it might be
that's all the lights that are just for the magic. So I'll go through them here. So the main ones that are going to be easy to figure out are these ones. So these are the ones that were for around the explosion area. So that's why they're close mountain rims. They were just me picking specific spots around to try to create a kind of a nice sharp rim without just shining a broad light and having certain areas look better than others. The actual explosion mountains. Actually, I don't know. Was this one even used? It does not look like it was. All right. So this is one that I actually wanted to make brighter. So that's around that center. And then this is the actual center point. So this is one where it actually gets brighter and then dims. And then ground zero. I can't remember what ground zero was. Oh yeah. So ground zero is right at the beginning that had that kind of expansive light. But after that it goes away. Alright, so our beam center is a very, very, very thin light. So I had changed it. I can't remember if I did width or height. So I turned the looks like the width. Yeah. So I made the width really, really, really tiny. And have it just kind of cut through the center there just to kind of create a center glow. Okay. And then the center was a volumetric light that I had come up to the bottom. And I believe that's shadowed. No, it's not. It's just a trick on it. So that would look like with noise and everything. So just to create that like sharp glow that was coming out of the center, I was kind of limited on because of having a round light. So, and then further was just one that just kind of create the same effect further down. So you put both together, you get that. And then when you put the line coming down the center, is mainly to have something at the beginning and at the end. You get that nice bright center line coming through. And the cool thing was these rocks, when the light was coming down on them, looked really cool like that. So I kind of liked it like that. The glow was just kind of a light that was shined straight through. Just a volumetric light. And it just kind of dims away. But it was to kind of groove everything, the light from the direction that mattered, which was from the cameras.
I actually have a question. What scale are you working at here? With obviously the lights and the terrain aren't at the scale that you were at before. What scale did you scale down to for these shots?
This is actually still pretty big. And this is the entire map. I guess if you want perspective.
Is it a half? Or is it... Okay, so that is quite large then. Still, that's
so yeah.
That is actually quite a lot larger than I thought it was. I thought it was down to like a fourth scale.
Well, and I could, but a lot of particle effects are hard to scale. So a lot of times I have to kind of build it around a particle effect. It's actually why in Alishai 2, in the part where the plane has like that big laser beam come around to hit the side of the plane and it blows up, the explosion effect I wanted to use was so fucking big that entire shot took up almost like the entire fourth corner, where I had to blow the entire plane up to an immense proportion. It looks no different in the video, but it was the only way to use this giant particle effect for this small little bit.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, that's actually that is actually on a number of scales higher than I thought it was actually.
Yeah, and the thing that bothered me was that the laser was going to hit the skybox, and it wasn't going to go forever. So that kind of bugged me. And the beam itself is essentially, well, actually, let me finish the lights here, and then I'll get to the beam. So the beam center further, I did those already. Yeah, I was going to these ones. So these are the expanding ones. So this is when it hits, it expands out and then kind of dims back in. And that, to me, out of any of the lights that created the effect, these are the ones that did it. for the lighting, because these ones turn out really, really well, and they are very, very specific on how they're lighting. You can actually see the light line that they're not touching, because they're set to only light that point and farther, and then the other point and further. And I believe they have shadows turned on. Yeah, no, they don't actually. Huh, I'm surprised. So without that, this is literally what the light is doing. But there was no way for me to light it any other way to keep it so the light was going both directions. Thanks. So if we put all that together, we got that. So with the light. But I was the thing that I was most happy with was this glow in the center looks legit, and I really liked that. But
it's kind of a shame that you don't linger on this shot more. I mean,
I didn't have the time.
I know you didn't have time, but like this needed to be a shot where it was like 4 seconds of like kind of like a bigger oomph than what we got, which is a quick.
Where is this?
Like maybe double the time frame on that, and that would have been like super fucking legit.
Hello, Cam.
Because it flashes two fighter. It flashes two.
Trying to figure out where.
Yes, car. I hope the people in the stream can hear the car.
Oh, they definitely can.
Oh God.
I don't know where the link went anymore.
But yeah, the foom of the hit is really quick, and you can't quite register it before it's.
Well, that was kind of funny about it. I was trying to see if I could find the anthology write-up for what these requirements are, but the one was, don't make a short over, I think, 30 seconds. And I'm like, well, mine's 40-something. Too bad.
Too bad.
So I didn't want to keep lingering on it longer.
Yeah.
But
it's totally fine. But I mean, like, it would have been nice to have that linger just for like a double time. Just have a little bit of.
And when I was making a lot of these lights, I started with what the important ones were. So it was like, I started with the beam's center, and then I said, well, what do I need now? And so I kept expanding and adding to. So it wasn't like I just placed all these down and said lights. It was very much fluid, and like I was just placing one, then another, until I finally started getting things that worked. Like the volumetric lights, I was playing with a lot of the volumetric lights and stuff before I even had the rocks come up. And then that's where when doing the lights, I'm like, this looks really plain. So I started adding more, and then I started adding more of that, but then that didn't make the lights look right. So I went back to the lights. I went back and forth to get something to work. In terms of particles and stuff, so yeah, I already explained kind of that cloud, and I really like that cloud effect that came up. I was super happy with how that was, and that's in the workshop, I believe. I think it's actually the name of it. If you just search Chilo or something like that, I forgot what it's called. Yeah, from the workshop. It's just a sky model. Really, really neat model. I downloaded it a long time ago, and I used it in the next shot after this. And then, but after I used it there, I was like, but actually it would be useful here, so I actually came back to the shot and added it to it. So for particles, so I already talked about the one at the beginning here we had. Which was kind of that like glowy effect.
How long to render?
To render? Let's look it up.
I'm gonna just start calling you Octo because I can, because you have a 1 after your name. I just will. I'll call you Octo. It doesn't matter. Well, with a 4K shot, it had to have been a.
The 4K one took longer. All the rest were done in 720. No, all the rest were done in 1080 because I put it on YouTube as such. But when I did it for Anthology, they recorded at 720. This is the 4K shot. So, like the 4K of this one. No, this wasn't the 4K. This was 1080. This is the 4K one. Yeah. And this one was taking only 7 seconds.
Or 7 seconds per frame.
There's not that much in it, but that was for that one. If I actually go to so the actual final video, go down to this particle effect one. This shot actually wasn't that difficult. of a shot. So this was around the 6.6 or no, not the right one. So we're looking at about 700.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
700. No, that's the 700 frames. So I just needed to get the number for reference on here.
Some of them are 2s. There was a bunch of 10s right there.
4 to 5 seconds on 1080.
That's actually really nice. That is not bad.
But
what was the 10 though?
The shot after this, the
34.
crater, that's
oh yeah,
that was the one that
yes,
killed
I
me.
can understand that one. Yeah.
The planet was up 1.5 seconds.
Well, it's just
Yeah, because it was
it's just
super
the planet
simple.
with the flare and then the flare.
Yeah.
That was it.
So yeah, this
34 seconds for a frame though. Oh damn.
So at the very beginning, this is kind of that particle at the very beginning on the.
That is rough.
I'm gonna turn.
What is the
off-
34? What was the section for the 34? That was the.
This part.
I actually don't remember the. Yeah, that one where it has the.
But you can tell I
glowing
click
rocks.
there, and that's how long it
It's
takes.
already over.
No, like if I
yeah.
click in the shot,
Yeah,
the time it takes
a
because
long
it's so
time.
freaking much crap.
How many
going on.
load do you? How many? Not how many loads. How many lights do you have?
Don't get ahead of myself.
Okay, fine. I'll stop.
We're front to back book.
Sure, books.
Books.
Yes, I can deal with the
Yeah.
books.
Okay. I'm turning off some of these effects so that these are easier to see. So, okay. So this is in the beginning. The effect for this still has a light on that I will. Oh, there we go. Just so I had some kind of effect at the beginning to kind of show that central point, and then there's the lens flare. So, and that kind of dims away, and then after it fires, we have the lens flare kick in.
Kyle,
Yes, sicko.
I hear that you're comparing me with diseased lice.
Diseased lice? No.
And
Well,
saying
maybe
that
a little
have
bit.
the plague.
I said you had the plague, and I just said that they found the plague that's in lice in Australia or Africa. One of those two.
So for this one, it's pretty standard.
No, you said
Kyle.
you have to stand by the doorway.
Look, Kyle.
Don't
Meh.
Don't get on my bed.
don't get on the dolphin. You can't get on the dolphin.
Dolphin is immune.
Yep, don't do
Go
it.
away.
Don't go away. Stupid diseased woman.
So the beam is just the same as the other one. It's exactly the same. I think I just the time in the
I don't
position
wanna
made
get
it.
sick.
So in the end, it wasn't exactly the same. But there's so much other lights and stuff that I didn't need it to be. I'll keep that on. So on the ground, I found a model. Or at first I did an initial shockwave. This is just a simple, small shockwave that just went more around the rock area to stay within that rock area. But then I found another one that was a shockwave that only went one direction, and that actually was pretty nice. And so that actually expands out from there.
Well, what shots did I just fire? I don't understand.
Because I wanted it to be like that everything was being shot one direction, so the shockwave shouldn't be going all directions. Well, I had something that did. I wanted some that was just specific to going backwards. And these ones, I believe, were also from Dota. And that is not going to tell me what I want. It is called the Kunkka. Kunkka spell Tidebringer B1. So, or just B. But then you put all that together. So in terms of particles, this is all what the particles do. That's it. All the rest is lighting. So particles are super annoying and a bitch to deal with, but in the end, a lot of what made this shot pretty was not particles. It was models and lights. So that's going to be, I think, more important for stuff like this than the particle effects itself. And in the end, it really wasn't that complicated of a shot. The fact that I can even preview this in any legitimate fashion was surprising me. When I originally built this and I was using crapples or rock models on the ground, it looked like shit. But when I simplified it to like this, it actually looked really good. What do you think about Doors 3? I don't know, because I talked about things when I was told to talk about things, and that's about it. I'm not involved with the project in terms of its development.
That's Yashua's thing. He's also in the chat. Ask him.
No,
Or
it's still
is he-
DigiVs, but I'm not getting into that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's how I make this one. Again, I don't know if there's any questions that people have regarding how this one was made, or or if they want to see some other part of it in more detail, and I definitely can do that. But again, don't think that this is one of those where in my head I knew exactly what I was going to do and I just started placing and putting numbers in and models in exactly where it needed to be. It was not like that at all. I changed this so many times and I was constantly manipulating, being like, this doesn't work, I'll do this. Well, then because I did this, that doesn't work anymore, but it looks better if I do this. But now that breaks this other thing. And so it was very much a changing progress from beginning to end. And so it wasn't an easy thing to do, but it was definitely challenging, but it made it worthwhile to do it. Both.
Pour one into the other.
Yes.
I'm fucking with them. Kelchan immediately. Well, I see that you are a true friend.
So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead. I did cover a little bit of how I did the planet thing. I actually covered this on a stream a couple weeks ago, almost in full, because I copied this shot out because people were asking about it, because I posted on Twitter. I just left out that solar flare. So I mean, this is just some very careful positioning of volumetric lights. And utilizing shaded or a shadowed volumetric light so that it actually hovers over the planet like this. The actual shadow of it coming across to create that cool effect. So I just found a planet, like or a picture of a planet, and I just copied it essentially. So I'm not going to go too much in detail on that one. And then the back is just particle effects and a star field. So that's why this shot was like super simple. It's previewing at 60 frames a second. Because really, in terms of models, there's only literally one model in this entire thing, and that's just that Earth. And that I had to position the Earth in such a way that the country of which the landmass was attached to was not recognizable in any way. Because sometimes it'd be like, that's New York. Yeah, I can't do that. So I'd turn the planet sideways, and so it was more random.
That's New York.
Well, no, because originally I had it when I was doing it.
What is that? That's not a... Oh, it's America upside down.
I flipped it upside down.
It's
so
upside down. That's
so
that looks really weird upside down.
Originally it was like this. But then I was like, yeah, that looks like that. No, I did. That's why I did that, though. I did that so that it was unrecognizable. I didn't want it looking.
I actually can't tell. No, okay.
That's
there's
Africa.
Saudi Arabia, Africa.
Yeah.
Okay, that was really weird.
But I turned it on its side so that it wasn't recognizable as anything.
I can.
Plus, it kind of made it cool down here for the icy effect.
The glow was just a light, I assume. It was just not a volumetric. Just a pure light.
There is only two particle effects. That's the star wall, which is the stars back there, and then the lens flare. All the rest is only the atmosphere is made of 4 different lights. Sense. So you have the main rim, which is set to a very high radius, meaning expanded out, because the light would normally look like that, but with the high, or not like that, but like this. But with the high radius, it's expanding the light to an immensely large bit, and then it kind of creates a better rim effect around. Then this was just the one to create the sharper lighting on the side. You put the two together, and you get a nice, cool rim effect all the way around.
Did you just blow up Russia? Well, no.
Maybe.
It's not Russia if it's upside down.
And then for the glow on here, I'm gonna try this particle here. When I was looking at it, what I was seeing was that there was always a bright white glow, mainly from the sun or whatever, that was in the center by where the light was coming across the edge. And then from there, you would get a mixture of blue and green glow that was coming around the edges. But the atmosphere was higher up than the planet, so you'd actually create like a... let's see if I can figure out what I searched for originally.
It's too late, Titan. The bottle's already open. I already got my cooties on it. It's over. Jordy wants scotch though. Okay. He's going back to sicko.
No, that wasn't it. I can't remember the exact image I was referencing.
Was it actually just like a JPEG on a flat plane?
The what?
The planet.
Not mine.
No, not yours.
No, the one I was looking at was a picture that somebody had taken.
Oh, okay. I was sorry. I was confused.
I think. Well, that's probably not going to be. Oh, it's kind of close. Oh, wait. Was it this one? No. That one didn't feel realistic to me. But it was, in essence, kind of what I was going for. But a lot of these, and this one got really close. It showed a little bit more edge. I'm surprised that it doesn't come up if I say blue. Because I kind of want to show you what I mean by that outer a little bit, but that's fine. So what I did to get that was I created two different volumetrics. And I have a green, though there wasn't really that green now that I think about it, and a blue. If they're backwards, I forgot about that. So what I did was I have this shadow. It's set to a shadowed light, and I positioned it just in such a way that the actual shadow of the planet is getting in the way of the light, which I think in essence is kind of what causes that anyway. So it caused the volumetrics, when I did it right, to just hit these little edges and kind of hover above it. And then the blue was the same way, just a little bit, I think, larger. Yeah, the green only goes so high, the blue goes a little higher. You put the two together and you get this bluish green in the middle with a blue higher. That was the intent. And then I have a blue larger, which is, this is just to create like a glow that went above it. So this is what the atmosphere looked like. Then when you add in that white glow at the center, it really helped bring it together. So you add some stars and stuff and it looks legit. So this actually took me just an hour to figure out.
It's one of your standard lens.
All right, so this is the one that made me sad, because this one is like simple but not. So I needed to make a crater, a straightforward crater. So I made a ring of these rock models. I'm not going to click the rock models because it's going to take me forever to select all the hundreds that I used here. And I made one line of them.
Here. Hey, Hero Strain. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah. What the? Oh, there it is. I kept seeing Mario.
You has been away. Well, they're all the same color.
No, it only took me an hour to do it. That's why I did it. And also, I'd like to do as much of the stuff as I can within software, because I know some people don't have access to After Effects or a lot of those extra things. So it's nice to be able to tell them you don't need all that extra crap. You can just use the free thing and use it instead.
How much is your rent for After Effects per month? $35?
It's for the whole Adobe suite, everything.
Oh, for your full Adobe suite.
For Photoshop and everything,
like
that's $50 a month.
Oh, 50. Oh, that's actually less than it was before.
Yeah, but if each piece of software is like $700 alone, and then you own it and you can't get updates. Any YouTube revenue you do kind of offsets it a bit.
Do you own the 15 version now then? If it's
15?
They update
it every year.
Oh, you actually get the updates off of your...
CC updates every year and you get a new version.
Oh, I thought you were stuck with the old version.
No, so 2000, I can update it, and I can install any version I want.
I thought you were stuck with the version on the rent that you paid for.
No, you get full updates forever. So, I have 2016's RAM preview was really poor, so I was using 15 for a while, but now 17 actually works pretty well, so I'm using 17 now. Speed grade I don't think is upgraded since 2015.
$50 a month is not bad for the full suite though.
And that's not just video stuff; it's Photoshop, InDesign,
everything. It's everything. So it's pretty decent.
And I use them a lot, and I mean, YouTube offsets about half of that every month, so I do eat it a bit, but
you have a really good job. You can eat it. What are you getting? You're getting a new raise for doing like 3 times the work that a normal man would do in your position.
There's 3 people that do my job, or no, 3.5. 2 of them are off for the next couple of days, and so I'm the only one doing everything.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
And I've just been like, okay, I'm all caught up.
You've been pulling overtime?
No.
Or not all?
No. I've been doing it all and having
I've
no
been
problems.
pulling overtime at my job. Jesus Christ.
I probably will be coming up here though.
Lucario, no nudes.
But anyways, so I just took one line of these rocks, put them in like a cone shape, like a bowl shape, half sphere, whatever, and then I just copy pasted that all the way down.
Many bowls.
And I kept going into a point where I could then use the volumetric lights to kind of make them fade into the distance.
You don't get to be sad, Lucario.
But when I did that, it created
No sad.
this like sharp edge, which was stupid looking, and I don't like that. So I brought in the mountain models and I positioned them at different bits around the edges to create a kind of a rough edge for what's coming up, and it actually looked pretty cool doing it that way. I was really surprised how well that turned out. So at least for making it simple. And I probably didn't need as many rock models as I had, but it was more of, I didn't want to try to figure out which ones to get rid of and not which ones not to, and I just didn't care. So for making the actual ground, that wasn't that difficult. It's just really CPU intensive. It's just with all the lights on. There's that model again for that smoky whatever.
The woof.
Yeah, the woof.
The woof.
And I did that so that it created like an explosion effect at the end.
So there was no model that was longer than all of the repeated sections of the ground? You couldn't find anything else that was properly set to model?
No, not for that kind of detail.
Nothing?
No, because anything I would do...
that's a lot of repeats. Like,
well, the thing is you don't notice it. And it was the only thing that was going to create the
you're so low to
effect.
the ground.
And
but the CPU intense.
And to fix the edges a bit, I just added the mountains coming down. I guess the lighting bits in a bit. So in the ground here, I needed more detailed ground. So this is one from the special pack that I have, the scene build pack that had just some detailed grounds with good.
Again, it looks like Doom 2013, like or 2016. It looks like Doom, which is kind of
If I try to move a camera when it's in or when I don't have it selected, it just tells me like you can't do that. You can't manipulate an animated camera or light through the viewport in timeline mode. So now I can. I have the detailed ground here, but then I put smaller, more detailed ground here because this is the one that's visible. So I wanted it to be more detailed, and that's when I just have her land here. And that was it was kind of a cheap land, but I just didn't, it was just like, pump. She feels the mayhem in her wings. She's like, I shall write a book about this.
Rip Cario and Lucario are having a identity crisis in the chat. Shit.
So I think I did add, or maybe I didn't in the end, because originally, and I thought I started adding it, but I might not have kept it. Oh no, I did. So these clouds bits, there's another one here. It's very, very small, but there's another one of those cloud models that comes up higher. Here, you can kind of see it. It's hard to see though. It's meant to be very minimal because what I was doing was the background is very, very plain. So I used it because a lot of like the anime and stuff, when you see like a bright beam go through of like the whole planet or whatever, it usually creates like a dome of clouds that wrapped around it. And so that's in essence what it's doing, was I was trying to create that dome of clouds, or at least vapor that had went through. For particles, there's only one particle in this whole thing, and that's the distortion field. I had used this in the Alisha videos, so if you kind of get, I can have the lights off actually for this. And that was to cause kind of a feeling of heat. So if you look down here, you can kind of see a distortion of the light behind it. And I can't remember where I got that from. I ended up just copying it from the Alisha video, just to create a kind of a feeling of morphing. Actually, I'm not thinking about it. I think it does have it on here. It's probably Dota again. Yeah, Abaddon. That's what it borrowed time. Anyways, for the lighting, there's one main light that's at the very, very end of this that's shining down this entire thing. I'll shut off all the lights and kind of show how this is all put together. What's making this shot very intensive is just that rocks, having thousands of them in that crater. I don't want to click that crater rocks bit because it'll take forever. So, well, for one, you're going to have your actor lights. So this is on Twilight here. So this is her main shadow. So this is a light that's just going to be giving the shadow of her legs down here. And then I have her rim on the left. Her rim on the... Or I should probably start with rim. So her rim on the right. So this is just the rim lights, nice bright edges. And then these are the main lights left and right. So just dimmer and expand a little bit further in. I think they probably have radius on.
Bye, Kelchan. Do your Davey thing.
Bye-bye.
Maybe. Who knows? Do your thing.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of a radius that helps spread out a little bit. But I had to make sure that I didn't want to go too bright at the feet because I needed it to blend with the darker ground. So they put the rim on there, and you get that. So I found usually for a lot of that, they have a nice bright rim and then another one on the inside. Even if you can see like where they separate right here, it still looks pretty good. Then I need an underlight because the ground is fairly bright. So I have another one come up to kind of cover some of the lighting in front of her here. And then an ambient light so that she wasn't perfectly dark in the back. So just lit her a little bit more basic lighting. So that's just all of the Twilight lights. This is a kind of a...
Oh dear, look at the bones that just popped up.
This is the one main light that comes all the way down that's just made for lighting up everything. Yeah, this is so many...
Holy Jesus. It looks like a star map for a center galaxy. Jesus.
It's because of all the text.
That looks...
There's
nice.
a lot of models. That's why I don't want to click the crater rocks for the crashed ones, just clicking it. So, and there used to be more. I actually would reduce. There's about a third less than there used to be.
What?
I had it going further, and then when I did the volumetric lights, it didn't found. I found the distance where I couldn't notice the difference, and then I just.
How
stopped.
did you select them to actually delete them properly without getting it crash?
It was click the first, wait, then hold shift, click the last, and just sit.
Oh man.
All right, so
geez.
this is the main one for lighting the bottom. Then there's going to be mountain distances. So let me get rid of Twilight here. So these are just little lights to create some of the edges on the mountains here. They're nothing much. It's just something. And then the creator center volumetric. So this is just a light that's shining down the center. That's a really, really simple light. I think it's shadowed, and that's all it's doing. It's just shining straight down the center. Actually, I don't even think it's shadowed. No, it's not. And it just kept playing with the values there to try to find a value that worked. So I didn't want to go too far, but I didn't want to go too near. I needed it so that it looked like it was blending into the background, so that stuff didn't look like it came to an abrupt stop. It needed to look like it was like fading into the distance. And then when you actually add that in with the clouds there, it actually blends with it pretty well. And then the skyboxes just had some lights to add that orange glow to the sky. So without that volumetric light, it would look like this. So it's with the sky.
It's ready.
And the other thing here is that if something like that had just happened, my assumption is that everything is still like hot and melty. So I took some crack, and I might do crack. See, this shot is so much that it's delayed me clicking these.
Night Octo.
Come on, there we go. Okay.
So see, 1024. 1024.
So I took a crack light. So I took a. It's not a crack.
Crack.
That's one of my favorite shorts from Anthology. They're like, this is Alicious. This is Mama. What's your pet? It's crack. He just throws on a crack. So this was a gobo light, so just some glowing crack light that I made essentially just very bright, and then I have it kind of pulsate and glow.
Fucking hell, Jay.
It's a crack.
Go and fucking Jay, go and check out your own stream, fucker. What are you doing here? Well, I'm supposed to be at my apartment watching you stream instead of Argo.
So I just made these super, super bright lights, and by doing that, it created kind of a glowy effect, like the ground was kind of on fire. When you had these rough rocks
So
with
is
these
Denise,
rough
Jay.
glows.
She's sick too. What the fuck? What the hell?
Ha! You all caught the brony.
What do you get? You had the plague? I heard it was in Australia or Africa. Found some fleas.
But essentially, all this was I took.
Don't you be coughing on me, woman.
You can see this. I have this like large bit that I had with randomness to it, and all these ones after it are essentially the exact same. You can kind of see it's just the shifting along. So I had one large section that was random, then copy pasted and just moved them all around so they weren't glowing at the same time.
Jay's got the Zika virus. Don't be getting a woman pregnant.
So if I add
We're doing it,
in
Jay.
all of these together and overlapping, you get this.
Jay, I already told you to drink whiskey. If it hasn't worked yet, then keep going.
Because some of these rocks up in the back here are sit up a little bit higher, that's why I went as far back as I did. And I just kept doing it. And I have a couple mixed in here that are a little dimmer that go up higher because I didn't want to just be like this one carpet bomb of glow.
Gandy did it.
Gandy gave...
Gandy gave
I didn't know...
the plague.
Well, Zika is an STD. Is it an STD?
It's STD, yes.
No, it's not. It's
No, yes, it is.
kind of. I thought. Well,
No.
I thought
it
mosquitoes
is,
give it to you.
Well, it's mosquitoes, but it is transferred versus
but
via
what are the
sexual
mosquitoes are doing with
transmission.
people?
Well,
These
exactly.
must be really big mosquitoes.
No, mosquitoes get into the blood, and then Gandy gets it in through sexual intercourse, apparently.
All right, so back to
All
video.
right.
So that's all that really this shot was, for doing. But I redid this one I think 3 times because it just didn't look right, and I couldn't figure out a good way to make a crater like that. But this is the shot I wanted the whole time.
Wait, what? Question mark, question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark.
So yeah, so I mean, if there's any other questions regarding this shot, let me know.
Why are the frames so slow?
Because computers and the videos is so tough.
But Argo, can't you get the video to do what you want? Because we're so cool.
Yeah, I just pushed the fix button.
Do you push the fix button?
Yeah, it's called Alt F4.
Okay, I'll do that on my own
And when it says,
version of the SFMs.
and when it says, do you want to save? You say don't save because you want to make
Okay.
sure that you don't overwrite anything
As long
important.
as we know that there is the yay but.
What?
There's a but. Kyle.
I said yeah, but
Kyle.
what? No.
It's a but.
Ooh, she has a maid outfit in my docky though. She has a butt line.
Look at that epic I think. She's super happy.
She's high. She is really high. She is the token of the smoking. The smoking of the token.
Alright. Anyways, for the next one. There's enough questions? No.
Ooh,
Just
that's a
JJ.
weird face looking. Oh dear. That I did notice that during the animation. She has a little bit of a lip. Her pucker, like pulls like out in the very tip of her lip, and it looks really weird.
Well, it's because
on
the
her.
it's because the accent.
On the U.
Yeah.
Yeah, her pull on the U.
Oh, they're
looks
going to
really
have
weird.
to glue you back together.
Actually,
No, that accent was difficult to do, like
well,
because
you got to pull back in the throat.
he was so like the U was such a strong U that I had to do
She's happy to be nude. Every opponent's happy. They're all nude.
like for here
Oh, they're gonna have.
I'm not nude. I'm wearing pants
or half.
shorts.
I had to do that for half.
After.
And so have to.
Well, I mean, your pull on the upper teeth. Yeah, the U is the one that weirds me out the most. I'm sorry,
Smoochy,
microphone.
smoochy.
Oh dear lord. Oh, now it went back to weird. Went from kissy face to. Good lord. Yeah, the kiss, the pucker on the lips really weirded me out when I first saw it. It was like, what the fuck? But I mean, like it's obviously to get the overemphasized vowels on it. So, how long did you spend on that
Lip sync?
lip sync? Yeah. Did you just do a lot of the pull, or did you actually go in through the sliders?
This is the jawbone. I actually yanked the jaw around.
You did yank the jaw. Okay.
No, if I didn't use so this is
So you did a lot of pull instead of a lot
this
of
is it
slide.
normally.
Oh, they're going to have to glue you back.
If I didn't, it was just like its base one. It would be like this.
Oh, they're going to have to glue you back.
Shut up, Gizmo.
So like when your mouth pulls back here, it would have been like this. Or like here's another one. It would have been like this. So it's just to help accentuate. Plus, it allowed me to, while the mouth was opening, I could have the jaw moving at a separate time speed. But there was a lot more lip pronunciation with that.
Because she's speaking of like a Scottish, Irish accent. What is this?
Somebody
What
did
does he
comment.
use?
Somebody said comment in the video. It says it was, using Demo Man in 2017 was a bold choice.
Yes, exactly.
But I'm like, I knew that.
And then you went with
That's
slang.
why. That's the whole reason I did was because I felt this is the most cliche, overused TF2 phrase possible. Yeah, and so
Well,
I was
it
like,
is perfect.
so I was ending it the way that people wanted it to be ended.
God, how many SFMs did they use that goddamn?
I know. That's why
so many.
there were so many people that started laughing as soon as they heard "oh," because they knew it.
Back together.
So I mean,
it's perfect.
Anyways, in terms of lighting here, it's the same shot, just simpler. He's just kind of standing there ready. Like, that is the face of a man that's ready.
He's ready. He's ready to
My pan is ready.
He's ready to boop.
Not only that,
Ready to boop.
look at this amazing walking he does here.
You back.
He's the thriller night, the frying pans are fried. Get up tonight.
So the lighting there is pretty simple and whatever. The animating, actually, when I did this, I used a lot of the copy paste bits. So when I originally did this, I animated, or I created a keyframe for her in this position. I created another one in this position without the legs up anyway. So just going all the way forward, and then the one like in this position. So I had a midpoint, a further back, and a forward, and then all I did was just mix back and forth between those. So like this is the fully forward, and then this was the back. When I went and did this little forward motion, it was just taking like 20 or 30% of that full motion forward and then retracting it again. So because I knew what I was going to be doing, I just made those 3 keyframes and then blended between them, so I was able to make an infinite number of choices without. And then I still had to add some extra little downward swing motions or whatever, but it allowed the whole body to move fluidly with very little work. This animation of her whole body I did in like half an evening, not even, just a couple hours. So, but I made this whole video up to this point before I even figured out what I wanted to do with this shot. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had a bunch of ideas, but nothing.
Did you have the audio already done before the shot?
In most of it, and like I had no idea what I wanted to do here at all. I just sat there going, I finished everything, and the next day is when I made this part. So,
I think it was a proper send off for the sketch, because
I wanted
otherwise it would have ended really I don't know.
It
how
would have
I
ended too
ended
serious.
It. I would have. There was
It needed
no
to be
way to
comedic.
end it otherwise.
It needed it. Well, it
Or
needed.
would it ended really serious?
I had a goofy bit, but it had to end comedically. Otherwise, it wouldn't make any sense. So I thought I'm gonna make it serious. End it on what looks like one joke, and then change it to another.
Yeah. Well, what?
So-
I don't even remember what it transferred to.
So from this,
Yeah.
it was to a music bit.
It was a music bit. Okay. Well, that makes sense then. Yeah, because
Because there would be
the
an
last
transfer.
transfer
It would have.
for
Yeah.
the music. Yeah.
That was why. So, anyways, for the in terms of animating her going flying, it was
Come
really
on.
cheaply done. I didn't care.
Who cares? You're focusing
Look at
on
her.
the demo.
Look at that animation.
Look at how much of the screen is currently like focused on her butt. It's just like
No, when she
it's
flies
like
there.
ka-flong, and then
all I cared
No.
about was when she was coming around here. I had a wing come up.
yeah,
'Cause I wanted that.
Well, you definitely have two wings roll over. Ka-flying. No.
And then I used two fingers for making fun of me for one, because with the lighting it was hard to see one finger. So
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. No.
So I've never did a two-legged person before. So
You should have gotten the knife hand, like the military knife hand.
I think I still have the.
You were doing so bad. Knife hand. Chicken wing that bullshit. Get knife hand.
But I've never. That was full keyframe and animated. I've never done something like that before, so I was actually pretty happy with the result. So, I mean, and I animated him. Having an actual rig to use made that so easy.
Well, have you? I mean, how many times have you animated a bipedal form
This.
in all the years?
Well, this and I did once a GIF of something that was just a repeated GIF that was super easy. But
I don't know anything that you've done that has included a bipedal thing. It's always been four legs and a hoof, and then a wing, and then a flying. And no, it's not Aussie. It's Scottish or Irish.
This all right.
Fucking hell.
So
Have to glue you back together.
I don't know why Twilight didn't see this coming.
To glue
Literally in
you
front of her.
back.
Literally in front of her. She had no clue. Absolutely no clue.
Yep, that's me.
You know what? It's just that he's a ghost. He's a ghost.
He's from a different planet, and he was like, "This bitch wants pancakes," but he didn't know the appropriate greeting.
Is that what he's? Well, does he normally give you? Yeah, okay, fine, okay, yeah, okay. So
This
he
is-
is from people frying
this
pans
is-
often.
I had originally considered
But-
making him demo pan,
Really?
but because it would have been
that
easy.
would've been good.
Because I have the
That
shutter
would have been
shades or
good.
whatever.
Nobody would
I
have
s-
gotten.
I-
Nobody would have gotten that.
I
though.
bought Poker Night at the Inventory
Did you?
and it's something else just so that I could make demo pan, and I was so happy when I did. Like,
How
Shutter-
much was that, by the way?
It was only like $5 for the game.
Only $5?
I think it was
That's
during a
not
sale
bad.
or something. But no,
That
I got.
is.
But actually, I had a lot
that's-
of fun with it. That game was fun.
That's some dedication.
Demo pan was during the peak of demo pan.
Demo pan
And it
is
is-
something niche and something very special.
If nobody knows what demo pan is, it's a meme.
It's a know your meme.
Where it's
It's something very
the normal
very
demo man,
special.
but it's very specific that
Oh,
the
fuck you ads. I don't know your meme, really?
where it's a demo man holding a pan. I think the shield. I don't know if that was an optional thing, but it was with shutter shades and the
It's the Admiral hat.
admiral hat with the chest on it.
Yeah.
It was very specific, and it was a meme for a while because of a video that came up, and it was hilarious. And
There it is.
is that the original?
That is.
No, that's some other
No,
one.
it's another one.
So yeah, because of that, it was a joke. So the pan with the demo man that's why I used it. Plus, it was for that. That sound.
I love the kofang.
Kofang
The
is pretty
kofang
awesome.
is so brilliant.
No!
It's French for kofang. Denise! Lady, woman. You should go over to Jay's and be sick together, he said. Can you cough together? Is that a thing? Are you coughing or are you mucusy?
No,
What?
don't breathe on me. I got locks.
No, don't bring your con crud here. Jay, go. Can we breathe on Argo? What are you talking about? I can't read. Yes, that's what I said. I said, I know that you wanted to come here, but I'm saying that you should go over there instead.
Anyways, so that is in essence, I guess, how Equestria was made. So, if anybody,
That's how Equestria was made. It's a big boom.
yeah. So,
You can't breathe on me. You can't breathe on me over the internet.
so yeah. If there is any, does anybody have any questions regarding how I did any of it, or want me to go into more detailed stuff? I definitely can. But in essence, that is, I mean, how it was done.
Did you just literally go over everything?
Yeah.
Unless you talked about the framing.
Well, some of the stuff I skip over because I skip over some of the details that I think aren't needed.
Jay has many questions, but he knows not of any of them.
Hold on, I can fix this. Hold on.
I mean, I suppose that give him Apple Horse. You're not surprising. I am. The framing for the shots, though. I think if you want to talk more about, you haven't talked about any of the camera movements or the framing so far of any of your shots. Only the details.
Oh, they're going to have to glue you back together.
Yay!
Again.
Apple Horse got the dirt.
There, Jake. Are you happy?
Why wasn't fun? See, you say something like this today, and we immediately assume you're joking. Sorry, I know, I get the joke from you, but does anybody else? No sound, just bang.
It was way too much sound.
Jay, you don't have a frying pan. You have a pot.
Wait, okay,
you have one
Jay.
pot.
We will let you watch in slow motion. Hold on.
Nope, 25% it. You can do it slow. There you go. Repeat.
And here it comes.
And slow.
All right. Now we can watch his form as he comes down. You can see he has the pony in his sights, and he's out there. He comes for the backhand. I don't think Pony sees it coming. Here it comes. Here it comes.
Dos en mí, credos, quietor, miendas, solo credos, miendas. Kafwang, kafwang, kafwang. Oh no, she's hit. No, Dirt Horse,
down.
why?
Look, it even broke her eye.
No, Dirt Horse! No!
Wait, I will fix it.
If
'Cause-
she dies, does she plant an apple tree when she dies? She flies, and she flies away into the sunset. Bye. Bye, Dirt Horse. Have a good time, Dirt Horse. She should really go like into the non-textured skybox. Just flip her and just travel. travel
I
for
can't.
eternity.
I have to select rotation, otherwise it's not gonna animate all of this stuff correctly.
I still can't believe you use your control and alt keys for the translation and rotation keys. I just can't do it.
The what?
Your translation and rotation keys for your camera, I cannot. I use my 3D my work paid for a 3D Exicon because 3DX.
Well, did you use these?
Mouse. Well, it's a 3D mouse where it has the up down, it has the translation, and it has the rotation and everything.
I don't even know if
on
SFM knows
one
how to
mouse.
use that information.
It does actually.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But I have
think
one of
it's
those.
fine.
I have one of those. No, I'm not checking Twitter, Jay. What is Twitter?
What is Twitter?
No, Jay sent me something.
You didn't send me
It
something.
says S _ bitch what you say, and it has a friend painted for the Jay, where did you literally run down to the kitchen and get your fucking pot out? No, my 3DX mouse has a fantastic. It makes SFM and UE4 and any other program amazingly easy because you use your control and alt keys. Where I have transcended and I use a mouse.
Alt keys? I'll use alt for rotating around the center point.
Your control is for translation, isn't it? Oh, is your shift translation?
No, you shift between modes.
Your mode. I guess I've never done it.
No, because
I just look at my 3DX. My 3DX. Fuck you, Jay. Your caps lock. Yeah, my 3DX mouse is. It's applicable to almost any program that uses 3D camera movements, which is Blender, SFM, UE4, anything. It's fantastic, and I got it from work.
There you go, Jay.
I saw her mouth and her teeth in one moment.
I'll give it just a teeny bit of jitter.
Look at her; she has seizures.
It's Michael J. Pony.
I don't think I even liked that photo. I'm pretty sure I have to like it first. Yeah, there you go. Here, I'll give you caps lock bags.
Oh yeah, actually, you know what? That would work. Let's
There
do
you go,
that.
Jay. Oh, messages are scrolling down.
Okay. What was that song again? It was what was the Maria song? That's the way you said it. Oh, Ave Maria, that's it. There we go.
Sarah also posted a picture of him with a pan. Is this the thing now? Was this Pan Day? It's a Panda Day?
Okay.
Somebody needs to post pandas. Did you just post this to Ave Maria? Did you just fucking post it to Ave Maria?
Well, it works better with Twilight.
I'm almost more impressed by the fact that you know Ave Maria with just off the cuff. You're just like
No, somebody said a chat.
Oh, somebody did. Okay. Ave Maria.
I remember it. Was
It's
that
beautiful?
Was that
It's
from
beautiful?
Hitman, I think, used it. I think at one point.
Oh no. Hitman was definitely not the first to use it, but it was the one to use it in its.
It worked though.
It's the one that it used it in its gameplay trailer. I know a couple other games that did use it, but it didn't use it in its gameplay trailer. Ave Maria is a very, very well-known violin concerto, basically, or violin concerto. I believe that's what it is. It's one of the most famous of them all.
Mm-hmm. Is that old enough to be copyright free?
It's from like 1786, so I would
think
so.
so. Okay. Some of them
I would hope so.
Disney fucked all that.
I'm pretty sure the Pope was the first one to listen to this. The violin concerto was the Pope was the first one to ever learn of it or to hear of it ever. So I don't know which one, but I'm fairly positive. Oh my God, go stick away.
What did Jay?
Who is it? Is it Jay?
No, Jay.
Jay.
What?
Sorry, that was
Hold
loud.
on,
I'm sorry.
hold on. Andrew, he wants to talk to you.
But I want to touch you, Sicky.
No.
Fine, I'll put
it's
it
your
on.
phone.
I'll put it on speaker.
Put it close to the microphone.
Okay, hold on, Jake.
Okay.
Put it here. Put it here.
What?
What, Jay?
Next time I see you both, I'm going to come to your apartment with that frying pan. I'm going to treat you just like you treated my wife. Okay?
All right, sorry.
Sorry, Jay, I didn't hit the button.
Oh, I don't know what happened there.
It somehow cut off. I heard something about a waifu and a frying pan.
We went through a tunnel, Jay. I'm sorry.
And that's all I heard. I heard a vague threat and then silence, and then somehow I wasn't scared.
That was good.
What? Okay, here we go.
Hey, Warhorse. Sleep with one eye up. Jay, you don't even know where I live. Or do you?
Right, is this what...
Does he know which apartment I live in? Okay.
Okay.
You suck.
I want to see if I can do this. What guy?
Try this version. Jack, why are you linking stuff?
Hold on.
Lincoln Parkin stuff.
I don't have all the notes to work with here. Stuff I'm working here!
You're working here. But the dolphin's taking over. Because it's embarrassing. Look at this nonsense. Look at this nonsense.
Where am I back to there?
Jeez, Warhorse, you come in for your 5 minutes of fame and then you leave. That would be creepy if I literally just looked out your window and saw Jay illuminated by the street lamp right outside, like by the red BMW. It's like, oh, there's Jay.
It's just Jay out there. He's like,
he's with the pan, with a frying pan. No, it's not a frying pan because it's definitely a frying pot because it's not deep enough to be a pot, but it's definitely not shallow enough to be a pan.
Jay actually used the song for the
best God video.
Yes. I'm trying to think of. Well, see, Jay, okay, I know that it's not your phone, but I can record on my cell phone in 240 frames per second, so we could actually do slow-mo to the song.
I am so mad that you have that because my Note 4 has slow-mo, but it is like 720 and it is garbage compared to your phone. I want to upgrade to your phone, but I don't want to.
Oh, and I can't even show some people some of the cool things we've recorded because I don't have it on the PC yet. Yeah, that could actually
work.
work.
Really cool one from Garnica where you have the dolphin with me doing.
Well, actually, I can pull that up.
Is that on Twitter?
That was on.
Oh,
Twitter.
He did retweet it on Twitter, didn't he?
No, I posted it for the dolphin.
No, like he retweeted it. So
I don't know if he retweeted it. All right, so dolphin Twitter account.
Yeah.
Did you see this?
That was adorable, by the way. Who drew that? That was
Webcake.
Webcake.
No,
Yeah.
Webcake posted it.
Webcake
I'm thinking
posted
of
it,
you,
but
I think
I
he
don't-
did draw it though.
No
we have
kissing.
some-
Thing,
no, we
yep.
have this. The dolphin in slow mo at the Garnica concert.
Yep. That's me holding him.
And that's at 1/2 the speed I can actually get up to, because this was at 1/4, so this was at 120 frames per second. I can go up to 240. It was just too slow actually, so I dumbed it down to that.
There was some really good photos of Garnica's concert. He had some really good light.
This one,
on his
Surrey
stuff.
took was pretty good too.
I had a photo that Garnica actually retweeted. That was pretty decent. Out of the slew of them that I took.
Oh, this is still one of my favorites here.
Fucking Bo. You downloaded 3 programs onto your phone to get that to fucking work.
It was worth it in the end. It turned out really well. But yeah, Twitter accounts.
Jay, we totally did the video where you were literally in the basement tied up and we're all like, we're like the FBI interrogating you. We still need to do that video. I have a suit ready for that video, by the way. We still need to do that.
Kidnapping. I love how all 3 of yours involve kidnapping.
Yes. Well, it's more interesting. Do you remember the
or all
bondage
3?
video that we did where we threw plushes at him? Or like...
The bondage video?
Yeah, where we tied him up with tape? Or was
Oh,
it
yeah,
and we
repent.
threw plushes at him?
Repent.
Repent.
Yeah,
We
it was
threw plushes at him.
hit him in the face. Yeah, that was fun. I wish we could have done more of that. Just
I wish we could have done. I wish we could have done more shots of that one. It was a drunken fling, or a drunken fling-tastic text Twitter thing.
I don't think there's any other questions.
I haven't noticed
Any questions on the video? So if there is none, then that means I'm done with the video part. So
it's been Twitter.
But yeah, so in terms of time, yeah, this only took 2 weeks to make, but it was a very long. It was like working every night on it. So
Well, I saw you do at least a third of that.
yeah, and then you didn't want to see anymore.
Well, I'm busy playing Arma, which I
No, you didn't want to see it because you wanted it to be a surprise.
Well, half of that, yes. I didn't want to have a bit of it be a surprise. I wanted the end to be a surprise. I wanted I really tried very hard not to watch any of your stuff because I wanted the full version. Like I saw some, oh no, I wanted to see a lot of the stuff in its final version since I saw a lot of it on its build up. So I wanted to see a lot of it in its final version at the con so I could react and have a good time with everyone else in the con. So I'd be like, oh yeah, I saw that before like a week ago when he was rendering it. So, you know. Oh, Kyle, did you have a Twilight banner? I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
Oops.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna get.
Well, the kissy face. The kissy face! No, the kissy face! Oh, she's gone. Hair. Yelling and then kiss. Beautiful. See, Jay, Pillow Wife, she is not just a wife, she's a maid. She has been doing very well. I came back home, all the laundry was done, it was fantastic. The place was spotless, vacuumed. My computer had been dusted, I didn't even know that she could do that. It's weird. It was beautiful. It was a magical time coming back home from BrightCon. Oh my god. She is so much. He is so non-enthused with what is going on. Give him a smile. Give him a little bit of a smile. There you go. Oh no, you don't want the eyebrow raise with the cheeks. You want the smirk. You want some. There you go. He is okay with this. Oh no. No.
Hi guys, look, Gmods.
I still, to this day, never understand how people can actually use like Gmod and do animation in Gmod frame by frame and not use SFM. Oh. And not use SFM.
And then he just gets the fuck out of there. He's like, fuck this.
Running feet sound.
Wait. I have an idea.
I have a very large amount of respect for the people who still use frame-by-frame Gmod for anything that they do. Because SFM makes it so easy and so much more easy with the...
So like
editor.
the videos you watched, Inverted Shadows with the panel, that was Gmod.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
know,
so
but
cool.
I'm saying, like, a lot of respect goes up to somebody who literally does frame-by-frame animation via Gmod. It's
Well, no, some of them, there is tools that are built for animation for it that make it easier, but it's still not easy.
It is still technically frame-by-frame animation, even if you are tweening between the frames. It's impressive, and it is worthy of a lot of praise. Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into some of that stuff, and it's above the pale, really.
There.
She's slapping her butt, or he is slapping her butt. A flying butt slap. No, Bart, don't hit the flying butt. No. Yes, sir. I know the Twilight Sword that you got me. I literally had to have it brought home by somebody who wasn't flying. He drove to Minnesota, and I haven't picked it up yet because he lives a decent amount away, and I have to actually go find it from him. So, Jay, what are you doing? Jay, really? Donald Trump State Park? Politics are inconsequential. Inconsequential. It's apparently a huge dump. What are they, pull down all the statues and something, step on them and stuff?
There we go.
Go flying. A butt 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 go flying.
Doesn't get close enough. Okay, whatever.
He needs, he needs to have a butt go flying.
I don't want to accidentally save over crap.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's all for that one.
You can't speak to Jay. You drunk, Jay.
I love how he's like, I'm super sick, but I have scotch.
No, I'm drinking scotch. You're drinking whiskey, probably.
Yep.
Or tequila.
He's drinking whatever's on sale. Yeah, very sober. Yes. Did that mean that?
I don't know about that.
I love how you have two different levels. You have sober and very sober. Like, I've only had 7 drinks. I'm sober.
That's me. That's me. See, he's drinking gin right there. Gin. Gin. My apologies.
All right, so I need to go steal something from a different video
I will
so
keep
that
my
we
schedule to
can,
myself.
so we can do something else here.
Do you at least have soda water to go with it? A very non-alcoholic. What are you talking about, Jay? There is no non-alcoholic.
Inconsequential. You said that, and you say you're sober. I don't.
No. That's what I said.
That's inconsequential.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
No, that's him. I don't understand a non-alcoholic gin though. That is above the pale. Ooh, Australia. You only have an hour and 15 to go through the entirety of Australia.
No, I'm not going to. I just needed to steal something from the shop.
A non-alcoholic gin? What are you talking about, Jay? Jay. What you doing over there? I know we're literally like a mile and a half south or north of you guys. You are a mile and a half south of us.
South, north, up.
Watch us gonna get a frying pan. Well, 2 ciders and a bit of scotch later. It's not my fault. Yeah, 3 miles is probably more likely. Yeah. What are you talking about, Jay? I can't dox you. You literally live in the middle of a complex. No one could know where you are.
Oh, come on.
Except for those kids who threw eggs at your window.
Oh wait, this was like something weird that it was broken, I think. I'm gonna have to redo that. Oh wait, no, it deleted. Nice. Alright, so...
I know they did. It's because me and Ganny yelled at them. Oh dear. Ganny flipped out, and then I immediately went into Navy mode, and then just told him to literally just step off and go somewhere else and play down the street. That's all I did. They stopped. Oh shit. And then they egged your house afterwards because they're 7-year-olds. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. No, I legitimately am. Even though they stopped, they still egged the house and made kind of things worse. And
okay.
what are you talking about? Yeah, I didn't say anything, but don't play here. Play down at the end of the walkway. That's all I said. So. I didn't mean to make it worse, I suppose. Even if it did get a little bit worse, but they're kids. They're like 10 years old, so you know what are you going to do?
So we had an idea to make the crackle thing, so I might as well start doing that.
With the spinning of the...
There's only one other
clouds.
thing I have to do in Australia, and that's the credit sequence, but I'm working on that off stream, so because it's a lot of planning. So we have... Oh, that's cloud is way bigger than I think I intended it to be.
Oh dear. That's a legit ponytail though.
It's like modern-esque ponytail.
Modern?
Ponytail. Like it's not legit 100%.
What do you mean by modern?
Like it's not.
It's
like medieval.
What do you mean, Argo? With your fancy...
It's got too many details. Look at this.
Fancy SFW stuff. What do you mean by
My
modern?
fancy safe for work shit. Okay, so. But the only problem is this is pre-lit to
Stop, Jay.
this level. I don't know if there's a dark version of this map. I can darken it for sure, but it's just not going to turn out as well. Where'd my spec card go?
You can't tell them it's too brown. It's not too brown.
Yeah. Right, that's... No, because then we have...
Oasis.
We have the cloud.
Oh dear. Everything's Jay, everything is dirt brown because you love Apple Horse. That is literally the only reason. You are the last thread that holds that canon together.
This is gonna suck. So to make it so that everything collapses correctly, I don't even know if this matters so much. This is an invisible one. I have to go through and select or deselect the root transform of all of these. Otherwise, this is going to be way too big.
Stop expanding.
Well, I'm doing that. I'm doing it one step at a time. If I misclick an expansion of something, it might deselect everything.
Isn't there a group expand?
No.
There isn't gonna be.
Fuck off, you can play UV4 then.
I can't play UEV4. I don't want to pay for the assets.
But isn't it free to use?
No, yes, but the assets.
No, yes.
No, it's free to use. The assets are not free. You have to work like a dog to get anything from Blender or Maya to UE4. It's a horror show. I stopped like 3 months ago playing with UE4 because I was tired of transferring meshes and textures from Blender to UE4. It was a hellish experience for anything. The first thing I did was a Twilight, the science Twilight that you did on the first section. I transferred over to UE4, and that took me like 16 hours to transfer over. Half because I was learning, and half because I was doing it slowly. And you have to remap every texture, every single bone, everything. It's horrifying to get into UE4 unless you buy the UE4 stuff, which is like $60 a pop. So there you go.
Okay, so I think, how big of a thing should I make? Like that, maybe? I'll make it like that. And then...
Hey, Mike!
Okay, this is all spinning. So if there's one that's going back and forth fucked up wise, I have no idea what that is. Oh, it's the larger ones. Okay, so these all spinny. That's cool. I'm not going to worry about doing the extra effect thing here right now. I can reselect it. It actually didn't take as long as I thought it was going to. But that should be a pretty good size. Alright, now we need some crackle models.
Yes. Always crackle. Crackle.
Alright, now I should probably get the song. So, do you think the Final Fantasy VIII intro works the best for the music?
Well, you already showed me it, so
I think it
I
does,
would
but
probably
it's just
say yes,
there's a lot
but
of intro.
there's a number of other intros that I do know of that could fit, but I think probably
I had another idea for something. I can't remember what it was.
The
though.
FF8 intro is one of the. It's the most dynamic, especially for what you're using. So, yes.
I forgot what the name of this song is called. Oh, I think I can do it without the... Yes, perfect. Okay, I just didn't want the freaking wave sounds.
Yeah. What do you mean is he doing the thing?
I'm doing the thing, yes.
He's doing the thing.
He was the one that was supposed to remind me. In case, so I didn't
Mike
miss
is?
it. One-way NATOs could work too, but this one I always thought was funny because it just... I don't know. It just... something
Oh,
about
you
it.
use listen to YouTube? That's lame. They have at least 2 times too many screens that you need to have a download for.
I don't know. It does what I need to.
I use UTE-34.
That's nice. You know what I use?
That one?
What the fuck I want to use.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I drag in Audacity? I don't know if I can do that or not. Yes. Probably gonna crash before it works here. Just probably save it quick. Alright. Alright, perfect. I'll if we both keep one eye open, it's like 2 eyes, so we're safe. I think at the very beginning here, it'd be almost best to stay black. Or you could do like those like flash-ins, like the fade to black kind of things. Right. Okay. So first, I need to figure out because I like to figure out what the important parts of a video are first. Once I've determined the important parts, I can then build around them. So, and I mean, this is supposed to be something stupid, so I don't want to put too much thought into it. But in terms of like, you want to find the part of the song that's going to be the most important part, and then that is going to be the part that I want to try to. Then I know I have like 30 seconds or 40 seconds to fill in beforehand. So what do we got here? Because this is... Wait. See, there's too much build-up. So, okay, so the way I see it is you can show the town in like the fade to blacks at the beginning here, up through here. And here, let me turn up the audio so that you can hear this better. Okay, so that's 4 fade to blacks up to that point. Then you could probably do side shots of everything. But at this point, this is the part where you'd have to do the clouds coming in or whatever. So, okay, so that part. I don't know, because I don't know if I want to introduce, because it still seems early. But the thing is, the most powerful parts of this song don't come until much later. And that's going to be a problem. Because I don't want to have it be like a minute and a half long. This could be so involved if I wanted it to be. Because to me, this is where the swinging sword part was probably the most memorable part of the video. Trying to figure out the plan out.
Sorry, what?
I'm trying to plan out this song. I have, just from listening to this once, I have most of this planned. I want to do in my head through 80 seconds of stupid crackle shit.
What is... Oh, yo, the crackle video?
Yeah.
You have 80% of the crackle video in your
head?
No,
80 seconds, and I'm already thinking a full bit.
Please don't.
No, because the beginning here is easy. Because you can do the fade to black. That's 4 times. So then you get to here, and then it would be introduction stuff.
No.
I'm not talking about like
20 seconds 20 seconds maximum, and it should be over. There should be no more crackle, no more flying from the sky.
Well, if I do that, I have to start later in the song.
It doesn't. No. How many minutes are you expecting of crackle?
No, if you keep shifting shots, you can
make it work. No, that's not the answer that we want. It's not what we need. How many shots of crackle are you?
12 minutes.
A crackle? Okay, yeah, well, if you literally go over the bar, then that's fine, but you cannot go under the bar and then go close to it.
Crackle where?
40 seconds at max. Nothing more. Good lord.
Okay, for
Look
one...
at that fucking face. Jay, are you still here?
Okay. Okay, we're just gonna make the stupidest shit possible, just as fast as possible. It's not gonna be released. I just want to try something. Okay, so we do. That one, bookmarks.
Will we get to see some crackle eating ponies? No. This is not a Vor channel, you fucking pervert. No, Mike. No. No. Jay is driving over there. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he was half intoxicated on gin as he is. His non-alcoholic gin, might I add.
First pony I could think of.
Lyra. Oh no, not Lyra.
No,
I know he's sick, Mike. No, Lyra, no. Don't get eat siblings. One of these days, Argo, I'm gonna have to come over here and I'm gonna literally make you write the word adorables. Adorables. In one of your animations. I'll have to do it. Noms Lyra. She's looking up. She's so expectant. No, he's not drinking ginger ale. It's not an ale. It's not the same thing.
I don't think I want to start it with a pony.
Start what? Are you doing it? What if you were to use the music from the original?
No, I can make this work.
You're using the FF8 music right now, right? If you were to intercut a little bit of the like the probably the Wizard of Oz, like the Wizard of Oz, like the monkey music.
I thought I could actually make this black.
That'd be interesting.
I thought this actually made it black. Maybe I was wrong on that. Because I just tried that before and it made it black. What's this? You lied to me, Kendra. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Oh, black. Or, on a side note, you can use the "This is Halloween, this is Halloween, this is Halloween" from the Tim Burton movie.
Why when I hit 0? Dude, oh. You're not going to 0. Whatever, fuck it, I'll do it myself. When you go to black. Right here. Okay, Lyra, you're in the wrong shot. Get over here.
I wonder if Epic V is still watching after all of this nonsense.
I think she likes nonsense.
Does she? I've watched a lot of her stuff. She's cute. She has a bunch of
I was really disappointed. I was trying to find her in the comments sometimes and I couldn't find her.
Yeah, well, was she a Brody gun?
Yeah.
Oh, she was. Well, I mean, yeah. She is Adorables. Definitely. The ADORABIBBLES. Adorables. Her stuff is pretty good. I like it. I think you were the first one to actually show me her stuff. That was legit.
Her reaction to my of remembrance was, I laughed so fucking hard. It was so funny.
She has a bunch of really, really good reactions of just general stuff.
Make this a little harder.
Now that Warhorse is gone, we can bash Warhorse. Did you see all those pictures that Warhorse has been texting with his plushie and that Irish plushie? I thought that was funny. We started making a joke at BronyCon, and all of a sudden, like, it's transferred over into not con. Yes, Mike, he has definitely started shipping it. It has become a thing. He has started shipping it really hard. Even though Bon Bon definitely has a slice of that pie, he's shipping it.
I kind of made them do baby things.
Sorry, what?
Him and Lyra. And
What?
In the window, the plushies, they were doing things. And then he says that they were going to have lots of Lyras, but then I'm like, that would be incest. There was a long story. I'll just leave it at that, I guess.
Was this after I left?
Yes.
Thank God.
Actually, hold on. I probably don't actually have the camera move like that.
Sorry, girl.
Huh.
I have one too many.
Waifus?
No, the drinks. The world is currently going up. Like,
How many
legit.
drink have you had? Wait, that
I
was full,
did-
wasn't it?
Yeah. It's a lot.
You're like,
It was-
don't hold glass.
It was up here before.
I don't want to clean it up.
That's a lot of scotch. The world is... It's like a time reel. You know, like in those old-fashioned movies when you like spin the dial and you look through the aperture. When you look at the guy kind of like riding a horse, the horse running. It's kind of what it's doing, except it's going up.
Are you gonna be okay?
I haven't been this accidentally.
Your answer wouldn't matter. I wouldn't.
Well, I mean, I know you don't care, but I mean, like the accidental intoxication has not been this severe since quite a while. So, I technically didn't have dinner. I had a snack type dinner, so anyway. I had carbs at least. So,
Why isn't it no? No, I don't want sticky keys. Why you? Oh, I know why. Fucking camera. Oh, wait, all the models are off time.
please don't laugh at me.
Don't clap.
Don't. Please clap.
It's
I
only
am so
9.
lonely. My career as a politician is literally dependent on your claps. Please God, if I don't get a clap, I'll die. No. Don't you start worrying. I'll be fine. If you begin to worry, then I begin to worry.
I probably wanna.
See, right
That
now all you're
fall
doing
up there.
is recreating Warhorse's like solar eclipse
No.
video. Yeah.
No.
That's what it is. It's the clouds and
Yep.
then crackle, but it's it's worse. That is a solar eclipse right there.
Hold on. Wait. Oh, well, let me.
Can you blep the crackle? No. You can't.
Oh, no, his model's dead.
You
Hold on.
can't blap. Or you can't blip because his tongue is out to the side.
Oh, you can't. His model's dead too. There we go.
It's not the same with the tongue, though. You have the tongue with the back. Can you not move the tongue at all? Or is it stationary? Oh, yeah, it's stationary, isn't it?
You can. I think to a degree. Oh, maybe not.
I think it might be attached to the lower jaw. Yeah, that's just the lower jaw. We'll have the little winky eye going, oh dear lord. Screaming! It's like the latest episode of MLP where that was the little like pinata. I still have to go do that, but I want it. I have a specific scream in mind when the pinata starts screaming instead of going and like confetti. I want it to scream bloody murder. It would be hilarious. Sir, you're drunk. You did not see an eclipse on the. No, you didn't see an eclipse driving home the other night. That's not how it works. That's called the moon. It's called the moon.
This both works for everything.
Yeah, cause the I don't know about an 11-hour drive, but I know that a warhorse is definitely going down. That well, he lives pretty close to the full eclipse. We up in Minnesota are going to be we're going to be getting a banana eclipse. The banana thong, banana ong. Are you okay? His tongue literally has no introduction. It's just his tongue.
It's Crackle.
It's just Crackle. It's just John. It's just Crackle. Let him be who he is, lest none destroy his image.
Yup. Uh-huh.
Oh no, his jaw has gone backwards. Oh no, his jaw has gone backwards. The fade into is just maybe a bit much. Might be a bit of a too close up 180 on Lyra and the crackles.
No, the layer is fine.
No, Lyra's fine, but the crackle might be a little bit too close up on the 180. Maybe just a little bit. Maybe.
Trying to think of a break because after. Because I do building, that's introduction. I'm thinking that I could probably change her to another shot of because I think for this one I'm pretty sure I'm going to do I need a Lyra again.
shipping Lyra and Crackle, you fucking Twitch chat.
What?
Won't you do it?
Shipping Lyra and Crackle?
Won't you do it? Blasphemy. Is it bestiality if it's a beast and a beast?
No, because that's like, is it bestiality if two dogs are doing it? You calling Lyra a beast?
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Jack, that was the right idea. Yeah, Argo, is this like the Rapture? Like, except Crackle? So is it the Crapture?
Why are you still drinking? Because it was there.
Yes.
I guess that's a good enough reason.
It's poured, I have to drink it. What's that? Hey, you better be thankful. If I wasn't here, I'd be drinking with my Arma buddies, so. I'd be shooting, virtual people right now. Drunk as shit. That's correct. It's 9:17. I'll be shooting for Please don't. Please don't clip my.
Crap.
Please don't clip my vocals. Oh, shit. Please don't save that. Oh no. No, please don't do it.
This is gonna be so stupid. Actually, can I multi-select these? I can. That'll come in handy.
Okay, nerd, if you did clip that, you better link
shit,
it,
no, I
because I'm
can't.
watching now.
That's gonna. Wait, no, I can fix it kind of, but I'm gonna have to lose locks. Oh, how many locks anyway? So it's not gonna matter. I'm not gonna worry about that shit right now. Right now, this is essentially just storyboarding. I can add a lot more, not detail, but like more thought into a lot of the stuff later. So I think I might actually. I might actually have this go a little earlier. Because then I want to have. I'm actually going to go back to the idea of having this be 0. This is a cheap way to do a fade. It's really dangerous to do fades like that because I have no control over stuff then. There's a good spot to do this. Oh. I could make a crackle summoning circle.
What?
It's like I could make a summon the crackles. I want to figure out whether or not this is, can I do this really cheaply? I might be able to, at least for a rough bit at the beginning.
So instead of bringing his half-dead mother back, she brings back the crackle.
That might not be fast enough. Actually, I wonder if I actually keep doing this, I might be able to just speed it up. I'm doing this this is like the cheapest fucking camera. No, that's not. I forgot I can't hold shift. Shift throw me all over the place. And I want to make sure I stay. Well, you know what? I'm just going to do this the way that I thought it would be done to begin with. Oh wait, you know what would be funny is I technically could have it being summoned by Starlight Glimmer and her little magic buddy. Because they had done the one episode. Yeah, her magic butt buddy that she like had that boner for when she was a kid.
Oh! Oh, that guy.
Right. I'm glad that's what it took.
Her magic buddy is definitely not enough of a descriptive term. I don't even know what his name is because he's literally a throwaway character, but all the same. Well, I mean, Starlight Glimmer did literally ruin every single universe except for the real one. So, you might as well go and ruin the SFM verse as well.
Okay, are you kidding me? This has got to be alive. I just made you. Yes, you are alive. Alright, so why aren't you? Camera's alive, I know that. I fixed that already.
Jack, yes. I can't see what you're saying because stuff.
Oh, because that's fuck. I did it backwards. Fuck out, let's do it this way. There we go. That should work.
No, blessed. The Flufflepuff is definitely copyrighted, and you can be sued for it.
Is it copyrighted?
Sued? I have no idea.
What are you saying words for?
Well, I mean, I assume the Flufflepuff is somehow copyrighted. Because everyone makes a meme about it being copyrighted, so. I mean, Flufflepuff is technically not a pony because it doesn't have a pony outline, but it has the same
I still don't like that
face, and I don't know. I don't know if the original author of Flufflepuff actually has outlawed it or
I don't think he might be able to because technically it differs enough.
It is definitely different enough to be in
Chrysalis, so that there's already limitations on what he can do.
But for Flufflepuff, I'm
copyright
fairly certain copyright. Well, I mean, all he has to do is submit a patent, which is like $150. That's it. $150 equals a patent for something as little as a artist design. It's different for like our company. If we want to patent a specific design for something, we have to pay tens of thousands for, you know, like a PTC model or a WLS7 model or a WLB92 model. It doesn't matter. We have to pay tens of thousands to get a specific patent for the split, for the LEDs and for the housings and for the aluminum extrusions and all kinds of stuff. But for something as simple as like a Flufflepuff, it's probably not
As
that
simple
much.
as a Flufflepuff.
Well, it's a 2D image in fucking Toon Boom. It's 150 probably at the least if he's going to copyright it. And if he hasn't, then I assume it's probably silly on his part because he gets a lot of Patreon money from his stuff. He should have copyrighted it already if he hasn't. I know it's just a pink triple Gizmo, but it's not the same.
Okay, so I can't do that. I'm just trying some different things with the camera and seeing if I can make something work. Oops, that didn't start well. Like super cheap. I think that the camera did that there.
Everyone's in the Everyone's back at the poop. Is Dolphin copyrighted? Unless you're talking about like Echo the Dolphin, probably not.
Like my dolphin? No.
Not his dolphin, like Echo the Dolphin from the NES. I think NES. It wasn't Super Nintendo, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was NES. Echo the Dolphin, definitely copyrighted because it's a video game. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure Dolphin is not a copyrighted term. Nor could he get Dolphin copyrighted. Doesn't work like that. Copyright is or trademark or product trademark is very, very, very different from each other and everything else.
You know, sometimes copyright you don't even need to have it filed. You just own it if you created it.
No, you always have to have it filed. If you do not submit it to the copyright organization of the United States, if you do not submit it for copyright or trademark, then it is not copyrighted or trademarked unless it's submitted in their system for a certain fee for them to go over and review it and whatnot and blah blah blah. It would be different if you're like, hey, this is the dolphin and this is copyrighted or this trademark. This is Equine of the Sea /TM or slash /C.
Problem is that on that usually then you have to defend it and it would just like not exactly.
Well, at this point it's like it's a dolphin plushie, blah blah blah, and then you have to go through a bunch of legalese, having to say that yeah, this is this dolphin, it's no other dolphin anywhere else, and all that nonsense. And but if you were to say like it's a lot different for like companies, whereas a company would be like, hey, we have this product. This is a PTL 4416 /1, and this is a machine. This is a specific machine set for a Pictolite version of blah blah blah, and sort of whatever company, Amazon, whatever. And then they would say, yeah, that is a copyright / product / whatever it would mean in the trademark, or technically it would be a trademark in the general sense, and then a copyright in a specific sense. And then they would be like, yeah, that is a copyright. Then you would now say that, yeah, this art or this logo or this product is a copyright. Yes, I know I'm drunk, Mike. Excuse me.
Let's have the drunk guy talk about copyright laws.
Mm-hmm. I have to deal with it day in and day out, so I might as well fucking know it.
Don't steal.
How
things.
dare you start making sense in this conversation?
I wonder if I should utilize this on the other spot.
Yeah. I mean, technically, Argo, throughout his entire career, has been, debasing the trademark of Hasbro, but they let him do it because, it's not a big thing that he does 3D SFM work when, the trademark is meant for toys and the show and such.
I'm not trying to profit on it.
No. Well, you do, though. You do. You take monetary compensation for the videos, correct?
Not all of it's to cover expenses, none of it's profit.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's profit. It matters that you're taking money for the concept of said copyright.
But normally, like, YouTube's is considered non-commercial, which does leave it a little bit more
not
open.
nowadays. If you are making a My Little Pony SFM flash animation / Toon Boom, it's always underneath the copyright of Hasbro, and they have the authority.
If I'm using
to
their
take it
characters, technically, if they have the models can have a likeness to the show, but since make it unique colors, unique style, and
as far as I know, if it is in the likeness, the copyright, as far as the last saw, was the likeness of the show meant that it was under copyright of Hasbro. If it was Generation 4 of My Little Pony under copyright of Hasbro, and anything that looked remotely close to it, they could possibly, not definitively, but possibly claim as a copyright. So, like, anything that's Pony or blah 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 could technically be pushed under that umbrella of Hasbro.
But the models themselves usually differ enough from the show that as long as you don't use a copyrighted person within it, you could say that.
Well,
it's
I mean,
not.
if you were to take one of the 3D models from a side view and then, relate it to a 2D version from the show of an actual episode, it wouldn't be too dissimilar, but it's still enough dissimilar to create that little bit of gray area that it needs to survive in, which is
because most of the problems are if you like with the Fallout Equestria when they just changed their name because they just couldn't use the name of it, but all the stuff.
Well, the
that they
reason
have
why
differs
Fallout
so much.
Equestria didn't work because it wasn't Fallout Equestria. Equestria wasn't the problem; it was Fallout, and the Fallout people were the problem about it.
Well, also everything the locations and everything with the names of from the show. So.
Well, I mean, Kit Kat did a lot of callback.
Kit Kat.
I call it Kit Kat.
Kit Kat.
I love Kit Kat.
Jeez, give me a break.
Kit Kat. I love Kit Kat. I call it Kit Kat. Kit Kat has a lot of callbacks to the original games in both Fallout 3 and New Vegas. And technically, her work, which is her novel, is underneath copyright of Fallout. Fallout General, Fallout the CP, or Fallout the trademark. A lot of it is, but they have chosen to obviously not go for it because Bethesda owns a lot of it now, and they're doing their own thing, which isn't really, in my opinion, Fallout, but it's definitely something akin to Fallout. So yeah, Kit Kat kind of got in a little gray area, which is really nice and secure, where she could be like, "Hey, there's ponies in this universe, and yeah, they're blowing shit up, and there's craziness going on, and there's violence and blood and gore, and there's character development and stuff like that, like the old video games, like New Vegas." So yeah. Bon and Carrot Top?
Just adding randoms.
Yeah. If you want to learn more about copyright, there is a number of literary pieces that you can look into for copyright information and copyright.
Could care less.
I mean, for Argo, it's not very different because he is in that very very thin sweet spot of gray area where it's like it's MLP, but it's really not because of 3D. And now they're moving into SFM, and they don't look exactly the same. But I assure you, as soon as because right now MLP has moved from 2D in Flash to 2D in Toon Boom, which is going to be the next season, to 2.5D in the movie. The movie is 2.5D. If they move over into the full 3D, then I would
But they probably would
assume-
have their own unique look then too.
Well, they had their own unique look, but it wouldn't be SFM. But still, they would technically, under that corporate umbrella, then move over to kind of absorb, like an amoeba, anything that was 3D, which would be Source Filmmaker.
I don't
which
think
would-
they'll ever move to 3D.
Well, it's just it's hyperbole. It's
They already have a 3D horse show anyway. Not Hasbro, but there's that other one.
not. I mean, I'm talking about Hasbro.
Yeah.
And their MLP.
But then Hasbro would, if they moved to 3D, would be encroaching on the other show.
Well, it's a big umbrella. It's
The
whoever
horse.
has more money and who has more influence. Which Hasbro has a lot of money and they have a lot of influence. And I'm not saying that like it would immediately fall under the umbrella and then all of a sudden it'd be gone. I'm saying that that from that point on, Hasbro would have a domain. They would have a specific umbrella over the domain of 3D ponies, which would possibly include, SFM, even if it is of a lower quality, if it's of a higher quality, if it's of an equal quality. It wouldn't matter at that point. At that point, it would be 3D, and then Hasbro would be like, oh yeah, there are 3D ponies out there, but we trademarked it first, or we copyrighted it first because we actually spent the money to copyright it. Because copywriting actually spends, depending on what your product is, it can spend at least $100,000 to copyright a single product. I know my company. One of the first ones we did back in 1954, we copyrighted a single patent, one patent, and it cost us $16,000 in 1958 money to copyright this patent. And in today's money, that would probably be about $100,000. So, other than my girlfriend's average, but it grew over time. So, the patents and the copyrights per section of media are getting larger and larger these days. And it's getting harder and harder for people like Argo to properly do his artist work. If the umbrella were to widen.
I like my umbrella. Every company wants control. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, I mean,
I'm not going to think about it because I do it for a hobby. If something happens,
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I go
You
back
do it
to
for a hobby, which
living
is
life
really nice
like
people.
normal.
Well, I mean, you do it for a hobby, which is really nice because then you don't have to worry about it. But if there's people out there who do it for realsies, then
I don't do it for realsies.
well, I mean, you don't do it for money. You don't do it specifically to gain profit, so you can keep doing it. There are people out there who I won't name, but do it literally just to gain views and to gain money because they can do it really quick and they can get a bunch of people to.
But that is their job too. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
I never made it my job. I don't want to.
No, I mean that's not the point of doing something for a hobby. Ponies is not a full-time job. You should never, ever do ponies for a full-time job.
You
should do it as a
monologue so
hobby.
much when you drink.
I
It's
know, I'm
hilarious.
sorry.
You just.
I'm sorry.
You go off on copyright
I'm
laws.
sorry,
I don't even know.
tangents, I'm sorry.
Where did that come from?
I don't know.
You just started going and
Scotch?
going and going and going
Scotch?
and going, and then get judged for mental, and then
Scotch?
kept going.
I'm just gonna blame Scotch.
Just like a Project Horizons reference.
Well, I never read Project Horizons, but
Scott State.
if you want me to shut up, just tell me. So.
It's like, really, how much more can you get into with copyright law?
I know a lot
Most
about
people
it. I
know
know a
that
lot
crap.
about it. I'm sorry.
Most people already know it's copyright laws. If they own it, you're fucked.
Well, I mean, the nuances to it are different, but
I was gonna see if you're gonna keep going. And then you're like, done.
well, you're doing stuff. So I mean, I assume I
Trying
can
to
talk over it. I always shut up when you start talking. So
Well, I don't want to copy these over to fix the time issue, because it would require that I reorganize everything, which would be a bitch. And so I am just extending them by hand, because apparently you can't just do that for some reason. Unless there's like one of those situations where you can like hold the controller or
talk
something.
about this shot of the butt. What?
Because every time
the
it goes
butt.
back here, it's the butt shot.
This is a butt shot. Okay, whatever.
Anytime you have the camera within a 90-degree angle of
the
behind
butt.
the pony, it is called a butt shot. That means
Irrevocable butt shot.
that means that 1/4 of all rotations of the camera are taken sexually.
Thus
Aw.
is the pony fandom and the furry fandom collide.
Look at that butt.
Look at that plot. Have you seen Epona before? I actually had to look up what Epona was. That was not a fun time.
And,
Especially after I made the mistake about yiffing.
that. Well, when you put it that way, I just accidentally yiffed.
Well, I made a joke about yiffing, and then I had
Not knowing what it meant.
I had no idea what it meant, and so a friend specifically did that to me just to fuck with me and then make me fuck up later. So I had to go on a whole tangent looking online in Urban Dictionary, learning what a whole bunch of different adverbs and nouns meant.
How did the Google search for yiff go?
It did not go well. I normally just for fun keep my Google search off of safe mode just for shits and giggles, because that's a male genitalia on my screen right now. That's interesting. It's like, I just searched this random phrase. Oh, there is a male genitalia. All right.
I was looking for balloons.
I was looking for 99 Luft balloons, and all of a sudden I got a whoops. But no, I had to look up a bunch of different stuff like Ponut and all kinds of nonsense, and I had to go through and educate myself because I had never ever even remotely come across it. So the yiff incident had to drive down the peg. No, I was never the same again. Sura, never. Mike, is Argo famous for his butt shots? Is he really? Is that true, or is that just you expressing yourself, Mike?
I can only think of one butt shot I've had recently, and that was in the last video. No, the last video of the Twilight butt shot, which isn't that greater, but...
Oh, the underleg one? Yeah, I guess. I can't think of any other ones, though.
Yeah, I don't know where you got that I'm famous for my butt shots. I have proof. Oh, God.
He has proof for being not butt shot. Yes, Argo, that is true. Argo is the master of the poop face.
Yeah, poop faces I'll take.
Yes, definitely.
I'm gonna see if I can cut this song here, and I might be able to... Because I want that beginning, how that song goes. Let's see if actually...
While I was rambling on, were you you actually doing something?
I'm really good at doing that. Like from the stream, I checked. I have 275 recordings. So obviously, I think it's just that I've gotten better at working while talking and thinking separately. So that's my thought anyway. This is going to be better at figuring out where the split is. So for Audacity, kind of be a dick at some point. So it's right here. So I want to figure out where I want to split this. I kind of want to start it right here, but I don't think I'm going to be able to cut that. Actually, I might be able to, but it would be difficult. So I'm just going to copy this. How do I do this again? Trying to remember how to boot buttons. Yeah, that's the button. What's the button? Where'd the button go again? Alright, I need a new... How do I do the new line thing? I don't use this program enough. I might just have to cut it the other way. It's just messy.
For Audacity?
Yeah.
What do you want to do in it?
Well, I was just going to create another line.
What do you mean?
Have audio or low.
Wait,
another
line?
Yeah.
Control V / Control C?
No, because that'll over... Well, I don't have anything selected now, so maybe it won't.
You need to have a
there we go.
specific... There you go.
If I have it selected, it won't do that.
You need to reset... You can actually reset it past... You want to do that?
Huh?
If you want to... Well, what specific section are you trying to look for?
No, I already found what I needed. So I move it? Yes. Okay.
You can snap it to the end line, though.
I don't want to snap it to the end. I want to do what I want. I need to figure out whether or not...
You're going to have a tough time doing a retry over and over again to make sure it sits properly.
How do I do a fade in?
Effects. Generate effect.
Fade in.
Fade in. No, you don't want to do that far. You want to control fade in, or else you're going to be too far. You want to select. You want to select a portion of the audio at least 2 seconds in, and then do a fade in, or else you're going to have a far too long fade in.
Alright, I gotta figure out where I am. Okay, so it's right there.
So from your 14.5 or 30.5 to 16, fade in.
There.
There you go.
Let's see if this is the one part I want. Yes, this should work. Yeah, that'll be fine. Fade in. Yeah. Let's see if I can overlap these.
Your waveforms don't match up already.
I know. I know!
I can tell!
I'm getting there!
I can tell! Oh god, I spent too many fucking hours in Audacity. I literally hate Audacity.
I think I'm gonna put it here and see if that works. I think that actually could work.
Hey, Mike.
Okay, so I want to cut like that. And then I want to just do fade in for, fuck it, we'll just do the Well, I'll do it for here.
You can do a fade out properly, actually.
Let's do it. I want to delete that, and then we want to.
You can do a fade out if you want. Fade out. There you go.
Yeah, it should work pretty good.
If you also wanted to EQ it, you could probably lessen the bass. Or
It's Crackle Video.
if you want to lessen the bass or heighten the treble, you can do what you want.
Just want to see.
It's Audacity. It's a piece of shit program. It's for free.
I think it works pretty good for free.
It's decent for free, but it's not as robust as some other programs. Mike, what do you want?
Yeah, it actually can jump right in there. Okay.
Jack, I have not tried Reaper. I'm pretty sure it costs money to do Reaper, so all of my voiceovers that I've done for cons have been in Audacity. Is it? Oh, okay. I actually didn't know the Reaper was free. Oh, is the trial like Renmar? Oh man!
No, did you say?
That is the
do you want to
best-
keep using? Yes.
Would you like to pay a little bit of money just to help? No.
Is there a
I
maybe?
love your program, but no, I don't.
I love your
wanna pay
program,
for
but I
it.
don't want to pay for it. Yeah.
I love your program. It's like Batch Filer.
Okay, so-
I love Batch Filer. It's fantastic. It's a good way to reorient all of your files and to get rid of any extra extraneous text that you want.
But I'm not gonna bother touching that stuff right now because I'm not gonna be able to get into any of it, and I'm just fucking around anyway. So, that's fine. So I'm gonna call it just a couple minutes early because fuck it. So, I am going to still be back Tuesday to stream. Who called me? Oh, Jay. Yeah,
That's Jay.
that's why she called her.
bet.
So I will be back on Tuesday and to stream and stuff, and we'll do more stuff then. So I don't know what we're gonna do Tuesday because I'm kind of between stuff. Maybe make a picture or something. I don't know. Fuck it. I don't know. Maybe work at the Crackle thing more. So, anyways, so yeah, I'll be back later and do stuff.
Have a good weekend, guys.
So yes, good weekend and stuff.
Don't be stupid. Drink a lot. Don't be stupid.
Just don't be stupid. Drink a lot of booze. Gotta specify, or people are gonna think wrong. So, all right. So bye. Oh yeah.
Who drew that, by the way?
Nobody did.
Nobody?
As a recolor. I'm just
The
really good.
recolor?
I was really good at recoloring.
Wow. That's legit as a
So-
recolor.
All right. I'm out. See you guys later.
Nice and cats.